I should be up and running. I am extremely concerned about the audio. As soon as you guys start arriving in the comments, I want to hear about it right away. Let me know if this sounds okay. When I tested it earlier on today, it was echoing the mic, so I want to make sure this sounds very good. Last week, of course, I had the audio issue. We look good. I hate that I have to do this every week to make sure all my shit's working, but I really want this to look good. There we are. I'm up here. Let me just see how it sounds. Oh, okay. I think we're good. Nice. Thank God. It was crazy. The issue that happened last week was such a minor thing. Nothing was even wrong. But people were like, I can't hear you, so I unplugged my microphone, fucked all the audio up. So this time I just wanted to play with it a little bit before I came on. And all the audio sounded terrible. It was echoing. I don't know what the hell's going on. I got a great microphone. Software's fine. Great internet connection. And I'm like freaking out. So looks like we're all good to go here, though. I sound okay. Nope. Thank God. Yeah. It was crazy. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just making sure that this is all good in the hood before we really get going here. And my cats are out acting crazy again already. So what'd you guys think of the Clash, huh? So-so show. I put up a Twitter poll. Why don't I take a look at that while everybody's arriving? Let me see who's down here in the chat here. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for saying the audio is fine. I'm sorry about last week. Next time somebody tells me they can't hear me, I'm going to check first, because that really fucked me up. But I'm a psycho about the audio. I watch live streams and stuff sometimes on YouTube, and some people have the worst fucking connections, and I just do not want you guys to sit here and have to deal with that. I want you to be able to see me, and I want you to be able to hear me. And anything less, I'm gonna freak out. But anyway, let me just see what my Twitter poll, if anybody's even voted on it. I put it up kind of late. 100 or so votes. Did you enjoy Clash? Yes, no, or it was okay. 55% okay so far. 32% yes, 13% no. So I think that low number of no's is simply because AJ Styles retained. Imagine if he didn't. Imagine if Jinder Mahal would have won the belt back tonight. That would have been 99.99999% no. And one psychotic person would probably vote it was okay. But yeah, thank God. I breathed a big sigh of relief there. Want to wish Jinder the best of luck. The Jinder Mahal experiment looks to be over now. I mean, he tapped tonight, right? Incidentally, too, I missed pretty much that last match. My stream on the WWE Network was ass. I have 3 different computers up. I pulled it up on... I was watching it on one computer, and then it started going down. Pulled it up on the nicer computer, wouldn't work. Pulled it up on the TV, wouldn't work. Pulled it up on my phone, wouldn't work. And it was just really choppy in and out, and I didn't even see the finish. You guys were the ones that told me what happened. I was able to get... It pulled up enough time for long enough for me to see AJ with the belt celebrating, but I had no idea what happened. So you guys said Jinder tapped out. So I'm going to be doing this live stream tonight and this review without even really seeing that last match. So I'm going to have to go back and look at that after the fact. But, you know, the wrestling was okay. The first 2 matches were really good, I believe. So, you know, overall, I think the pay-per-view was, like, all right. But had Jinder won, that would have been a disaster. So, anyway, I'm just going to... Oh, good. So I'm not the only one dealing with the WWE Network issues. Okay. I thought maybe it was just my own personal internet here, but... That's why it was throwing me off. I'm like, all my other shit's working just fine. Jinder is history now, yeah. I don't know what the future's going to be for Jinder. I mean, this has got to be it. I mean, if this wasn't the blow-off, then what the hell is? You know, are they going to stretch this out more? Somebody on Twitter tonight had pitched Jinder winning tonight and then AJ winning it back at the Royal Rumble, and then they do a blow-off at the February pay-per-view when AJ goes into Mania to face, hopefully, Shinsuke if he were to win the Royal Rumble. But that almost seemed pointless to me. Why would you just put the belt on Jinder for a month to give it back to AJ? You wouldn't even have the title change at all if you're going to have AJ to go into WrestleMania. If the plan is for AJ to be champion at WrestleMania, no need to interrupt his title reign, in my opinion. But thank God he won, man. Ungovernable, you'll find out what Just Incredible did. A simple search on the internet will find that. I was just jotting down some stuff to put on the screen here because I figured we'll get into some other news aside from Clash of Champions tonight. I'll answer some questions too. I don't know how long I'll be up here. A couple of hours, I guess. But I just found out about Tom Zink passing away as well, and there's all that news about the XFL and shit. So I figured we'll get into a few things after we discuss Clash. And I'll get into Clash of Champions here in order. I'm just kind of killing some time here. Let's see how many people are watching. And if there's enough people in here, we'll just start talking about the pay-per-view. Okay, over 100. Good enough for me. There's probably a lot of people online right now doing pay-per-view reviews. So, by the way, welcome everyone to episode 473. You are watching a live episode. My other live shows are just for fun, but this is an actual episode number, so you're getting this one live. Wilmington, North Carolina in the house. What's up? Thank you, everybody who's telling me hello and happy Rusev Day and all that. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm just reading some comments here. All right. Yeah, well, let's get into, Tom Zink passed away. I just kind of passed across it on Twitter during the pay-per-view. And I was like, what the fuck? And apparently he died on the 9th, which is a week ago. So, first time hearing of it. So, one of the first Twitter pages I went over to was Tony Schiavone. Because it's kind of like the inside joke that he's in love with Tom Zink. And Tom Zink was a great-looking guy back in the day. Really sad to hear about his death. I remember seeing him for the first time in WWF. Ironically, he would go on to have a singles run in WCW, but he was one half of the Can-Ams with Martel, the Can-Am Connection. And him and Rick Martel made a great tag team. They had some really funny vignettes, I mean, where they're shirtless and they got their mullets and their gold chains and chicks are all over them. Hilarious stuff. Tom Zink ended up just leaving, because back then they probably didn't have too many ironclad contracts, so he just left in the middle of the night, apparently. The team was disbanded. Rick Martel was left without a partner. Ended up hooking up with Tito Santana. They formed Strikeforce, won the belts from the Hearts. But I remember Tom Zink with Rick Martel first. Then he became like the Z-Man in WCW. And he was an okay athlete. No better in the ring than, maybe a Paul Roma or somebody like that. But just an insane look. And I think WCW needed a pretty boy type of guy like that. And in the WWE, in the days of Hogan and Andre and Savage and guys like that, Zink wasn't going to be any more than what he was in the Can-Am Connection. I mean, that guy was jacked in 230, 240 maybe, and he was considered a small guy. So he was never going to get any sort of a singles run in WWE. So I guess that's why I can see why he left and went to WCW. But, his run in WCW wasn't a hell of a whole lot either. But don't know the details on his death. I guess he was 59. Don't know what he died of or how or why. But sad. I have fond memories of Tom Zink from when I was young. So that's a shame. But anyway, I'll start getting into Clash of Champions here. You guys are all shouting out where you're from. High Point, North Carolina. I bought some furniture from High Point that one time. Had it delivered. Furniture capital of North Carolina, I think. Detroit, Michigan in the house. What's up, Crash? By the way, tonight I'm drinking Stella. Is that better for you fuckers? Some of you were giving me shit for drinking Beck's last week. The only reason I did is because I drank a ton the day before, and I really wanted to take it easy and drink some light, shitty beer. Beck's was like $7.99 for a 6-pack, so I just bought that. And everybody was like, why are you drinking that shit? So, sorry. I'm keeping it light tonight, too. Sticking with the Stella. No heavy IPAs or anything like that for me. I gotta take it easy. Plus, if I want to talk for a couple of hours, I don't want to get wasted. And I was a little bit worried with the potential of Jinder Mahal winning the title that I would be knocking back some hardcore liquor. But anyway, now we can finally get into the fucking pay-per-view, shall we? Let's just go in order. Why not? Kickoff match. Mojo Rawley versus Zack Ryder. This one wasn't hard to predict. We knew Mojo would get the victory here. I thought it would be a little bit more of a squash than it was. Zack put up a really good fight. What did you guys think of Mojo's music? Brand new music. He came out kind of with a new entrance too. He's doing the... Did he always do the thing where he got in the 3-point stance or whatever and like darted to the ring? Has he always done that? I just always envision him bouncing around and shit like a crazy guy. But new music, kind of a new entrance. That will probably evolve. My initial, 10-second impression of the music would be it's okay, not great, not bad though. I think he needed something. I would have hated if he came out there the same way. He's still wearing the bright, loud colors. That's probably not going to change, I'm guessing. But I think, he still needs to evolve the character a little bit to where he doesn't look and act exactly like he did before. He had that online promo that he cut on Zack Ryder, too, that was going all over Twitter. A lot of people were complimenting it. I did see it. It was good. And the funny thing is, the reason that promo from Mojo was so good is because he did it on his own, on his cell phone, and uploaded it to Twitter or something like that. It wasn't in a WWE environment where it's produced as fuck and scripted and stupid and lame and just childish, infantile type of insults that you see on WWE TV all the time. The best promos right now, currently in WWE, are the ones like this that guys, throw up on social media. That's how wrestling fans like me can take a feud more seriously, is if I just see, the real performer or the real person coming through in their promos. With what we have now, it's just, man, just the little insults that they give each other, it's like, just cringy as fuck. So, I kind of like, when guys go off on each other on social media. It's a great way to further an angle, and sometimes you can have the fans guessing if it's a fucking work or not. So, not really in the WWE, maybe overseas and shit, but, for the most part, those type of promos are, the only good promos you're going to find in 2017. But Mojo did end up beating Zack Ryder, hit him with a vicious, forearm in the corner. That was the finish. Knocked him cold out and pinned him. And that's the end of that. So I guess Zack, who came out to the whole former song that he used, Oh Radio or whatever the hell it is, came out to his old song, kind of his old gimmick, wearing some of his old stuff. So it would have been nice, it would be nice to see Zack Ryder maybe go back to having some sort of a run, but I think the breakup is more about Mojo here, and he's going to be the one pushed more between the two, clearly. So we'll have to see what Mojo does. I'm still not a huge fan of his. Just don't like him. He's annoying as hell, but maybe he'll be much better as a heel. The show opened up with the U.S. title match. This was a surprise. And the funny thing is, you won't believe me, but in my predictions, I almost half-assed thought of predicting Dolph for the fuck of it, because I don't think anybody was predicting Dolph. I think everybody was either predicting Corbin to retain or Rude to win. And I picked Rude to win because I thought, why not? They might as well put the belt on him. They want to make him, a semi-mid-card to main event level player. And right now, just in his little babyface run, feuding with Ziggler and Corbin and stuff, is just nothing's happening yet. So maybe just fuck it, throw a belt on him. At least it kind of instantly elevates him to championship matches and shit, and then maybe he can have some really fun match at WrestleMania. We want to see this guy have a full-on orchestra entrance at WrestleMania, or a choir, I guess I should say, whatever you call it. So I think some special entrance for Bobby Roode at Mania would be really fun. So he needs to get up there to that level to where, if he was U.S. champ, maybe he can defend the belt on that show. That would be a really great opening match, just like it was tonight. The Bobby Roode entrance is probably a really good thing to start a show with. So we could see something like that at Mania, but he's got to get there first. Right now, Dolph Ziggler kind of scored the upset victory in that. I don't even remember. I didn't even write it down. My notes say Dolph wins three-way. So I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure he hit the zigzag and pinned one of them. I don't remember who. I think it was Corbin. Am I right? But he kind of snuck in there at the end and was able to, nail a move and get a pin. And now he's the U.S. champion, which is great. But what's the point of this? Is he going to drop this shit on Tuesday? Baron Corbin was all mad. He did an interview after the match backstage with one of the 30 backstage female announcers or interviewers WWE has. How many of these girls do they have? I mean, I know Renee Young. I know Charlie Caruso. There's the Kathy Kelly that's on their social media or something. But I swear there's 25 others that all are just interchangeable. They look alike. They sound alike. There's nothing that sets them apart at all. And I just don't know what the point of employing all of them is. I think you could just go with 2 or 3 of these girls and that's all you need. But it just seems like in every other segment I'm seeing somebody that I've never seen before. So it might be WWE's way of having a little training ground, a little breeding ground, just like, you have with wrestlers. You got a big roster of wrestlers, but only a few of them are going to make it to the top. Maybe they're trying to do the same thing with backstage personalities, just get a whole bunch of them there at once and let the cream rise, so to speak. So maybe that's the point, and see if they can make another Renee Young. Because somebody like Renee is fabulous. She's amazing at her job. I think Renee Young's really underrated. I'd like to see more of her. I hated that they canceled Talking Smack, even though Talking Smack was on tonight, wasn't it? Is it on the network or is it on WWE's YouTube page? Did anything happen on Talking Smack? Or am I hallucinating and Talking Smack is not even happening? I don't see it anywhere. Who knows? But if anything crazy happens, if that is in fact taking place, please let me know. So aside from the Zack Ryder match and then the Dolph Ziggler winning the U.S. title, I thought the beginning of the show was off to a pretty good start. I thought the three-way for the U.S. belt did exceed expectations. I didn't think it was going to be that great. Oh yeah, Talking Smack is on. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I don't know what the fuck's going on tonight. So Ziggler now, what's his contract status? What's his deal? What's his future? You know, I think he should leave. I think he should go to the Japan, and I think he should go to Ring of Honor and just get huge paydays, make a huge name for himself. You know, the fans would support the fuck out of him and mark out whenever he showed up somewhere. I mean, the case is proven with somebody like Cody Rhodes. You know, what he's done since he's left. And Dolph Ziggler, you know, if his contract is coming up, I'm wondering if this is WWE's way of trying to entice him to stay. Hey, look, we'll give you title belts. You know, and then if he re-signs again like he did last time, they're just going to sweep the rug out from under him. So I hope that he gets the hell out of there this next time around. And, you know, when he comes back in a couple of years, because he's already put 10 years in WWE, I think he's a guy like Cody who could leave and come back. And if he does that, Dolph could maybe be reborn and hit the twilight of his career, you know, 5 to 7 years from now, maybe with a final run in WWE. Maybe finally get his due, and we can have a happy ending here. But if he stays in WWE and continues doing what he's doing, he's going to off himself. I mean, it's just fucking miserable. But, you know, he's got another notch under his belt. He's got another title belt added to his resume. U.S. champion again. I don't know how many times he's held that belt. I know at least once. So, yeah, there you go with Dolph. So we'll see if they fuck him over right away on Tuesday and put him in a rematch with Baron Corbin. He'll invoke his rematch clause, I'm sure. And we might have... Oh, fuck. Are you back in the comments again? Dr. Furman, you got to leave early. You got school? No problem, man. So, yeah, we'll have to see what they do with Dolph. I'm really worried that it's just a temporary title run. But who knows? We'll find out more on Tuesday, I guess. But it would be nice if Dolph could have a run. What if he just randomly had a 6-month run with the title? Nobody's expecting that, right? Well, I mean, we're hoping he has a 6-day run with the title. What if he goes for 6 months? That would be pretty good. Will you guys bear with me just because I'm a paranoid fucking son of a bitch? I just want to check the other computer and go over to the YouTube channel and make sure that this audio does not sound echoey and shitty. Where are we here? There we go. Who knows? We'll find out. Okay, we're good. We're good. Sorry. It's just when I was testing it earlier today, I was freaking out. I'm like, why is this doing it? Or why is this happening? Because it just wasn't working well. So anyway, we're all good. Back to reality here. What's next on the list here? Was it the tag team match, right? So the Usos did retain. I was happy about that. That was one of the only matches on this entire pay-per-view I predicted right. I predicted Mojo right, I predicted the Usos right, and I predicted AJ right. Everything else I got wrong. But the Usos did wind up winning that Fatal 4-Way. It was not as good as I was hoping it would be, but it was still pretty decent, and then the near falls at the end were really good. I was hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. I thought Rusev and Aiden English had it when English, I can't even remember who he hit. I think it was Chad Gable. Nailed him with something. You did not think Chad Gable was getting up, and he somehow kicked out. Rusev, I think, even had a really close near fall as well. Wound up locking Big E in the... what's it called? The camel clutch, whatever his fucking move is called. And it was funny. I don't know if Big E meant to do it or not, but if you go back and watch the replay, he was smiling during the whole thing. Oh, the accolade, sorry. It looked like he had a smile on his face, like he wasn't even taking it seriously. I just think it was the way Rusev's hand was on his face, and he was kind of, it made him look like he was cracking up underneath the lock. But anyway, the whole thing, how did it end? The Usos, I think, got a hold of Gable. Got a hold of Gable, right? I think so. Anyway, after all the smoke cleared, there was so much going on with New Day, Rusev and English, and Gable and Benjamin. Usos were kind of on the outside of the ring, and you kind of knew they were going to jump in at the end and wind up hopefully retaining, and they did. Got a hold of somebody and hit him with a couple of super kicks, I think, and a big splash off the top and got the pin, while other guys were hurt on the outside of the ring and retained the belt. So that made me really happy because I love the Usos as champions right now. I think Rusev and Aiden English could hold the titles in the future. I mentioned that in my predictions video that I have no problem with them winning the belts. But right now, I don't know. They're a fun act in WWE. The fans they're getting more over by the day. The fans are into them. And the Rusev Day stuff and everybody, a whole bunch of you, wished me happy Rusev Day on Twitter. I appreciate that. And I don't know if they really need the belts at this very minute because Usos... worked hard to get those belts back in their feud with the New Day and everything, and I would just like to see them have a little bit of a run with it before you start thinking about taking them off, and maybe have them hold it until WrestleMania. I would like to see a few champions go into Mania as, long-running champs. Like if they can have the Usos retain all this time, AJ, and of course Brock, that's going to be 3 relatively lengthy title runs there, give or take, so... Sorry, I'm trying to read the comments at the same time. There wasn't too much else other to mention in the match, though. You know, it was what we thought. We knew we would get some good action out of that, and it wasn't over clusterfucky. You know, I was worried that it would be. You know, like we would see later on, like I'll talk about in a minute with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That was a mess. But this tag team match was good. I was expecting it to be a 10, and it was probably more like 6.5, 7, somewhere in there. But Usos retained, and that's all I cared about. Next up, we had the Lumberjack match. This I didn't like. This was not a very good match. The first 3 matches of the show, kickoff match, U.S. title, and tag, were good. And then they kind of hit a little speed bump here with the women's match. What I really didn't like about this is that all the Lumberjacks got entrances. What the fuck? I mean, I know the WWE is obsessed with that, and they have to get all the shit in, and, you know, the fans have to see all the correct entrances and shit, but that was okay during the Attitude Era. You wanted to give fans the Austin entrance. You wanted to give fans the Rock entrance. If one of those guys were a special referee or something, or a guest commentator, or a special enforcer, or whatever, they would always come out to their music. No big deal. But we did not need to see Naomi. We did not need to see Carmella and the Riot Squad all come out separately. You know, back in the day in a Lumberjack match, they would all walk out there together. Every Lumberjack would just single file walk right to the ring, no music, no nothing. And, you know, you can just play one song in the background while they all walk out there. I don't know. But, you know, not much really to talk about except for the aftermath. You know, Charlotte wound up, I think, tapping out Natalya in the figure 8 with a lot of interference outside. Both girls were getting knocked around on the outside of the ring, as we knew that they would. Carmella even teased a cash in. She jumped in the ring with a briefcase, but then got the hell out of there. She got hit and gave a small tease to that. I didn't really think she was going to cash in tonight. I think that's coming in the future. She should hold on to that briefcase as long as possible. Why not? She could even hold on to it until Mania. You know, when did she win it? Over the summer? She's already held it this long. If she doesn't do it at either the Christmas holiday SmackDown or the Royal Rumble, I don't see her doing it at the pay-per-view before Mania. She'll probably do it at WrestleMania. Here's something I'm curious about. Could it be done theoretically? Like, what if somebody held... Oh, I'm sorry. No, it can't. You have 1 year to cash in the briefcase, correct? You have to do it within 1 year. I'm like, what if somebody just held onto the briefcase until the next Money in the Bank and then won it again? And then they got 2 briefcases and they can cash in twice. They would have to do it all on that same night, wouldn't they? You know, they could have 2 chances at the title later on if they were able to win the briefcase a second time. Anyway, just a thought. But yeah, I didn't really think Carmella was going to cash in there. And the match itself, like I said, and pretty boring. I was actually puttering around the house doing other stuff, preparing for the live stream, and I didn't watch a whole lot of the ladies' match. But I thought Charlotte would lose here. I thought this was a good opportunity just to get the belt off of her. We don't know what she's going to be doing at WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey might be coming in. A lot of options for Charlotte, so maybe they don't want her as champ. And this is a perfect opportunity for her to take the belt off of her without her really having to lose, and she can save face and stay strong and all that nonsense. So I thought this was a good opportunity for that, but she wound up retaining, and I'm never going to complain about that because I'm a huge Charlotte fan. You guys know that. Let me read some comments here before I move on to the next match, which I believe was Bludgeon Brothers and Breezango. Fuck it, let's just talk about that now, and then we'll save the last 2 for last here. Not much of a match here. This was essentially a squash. Breezango, you know, we knew they were probably going to lose to the Bludgeon Brothers. They're not going to beat those guys, not with the push that they're coming in with. But it was pretty brutal, and Bludgeon Brothers made quick work of Breezango, cut a small promo after the match, and that was it. Speaking of promos, I didn't mention what Natalya did. After the match, she cut that promo, which I didn't understand the point of. She was pissed off, cut a promo in the ring, and says that the fans turned their backs on her, and so she's going to turn their backs on them. Starts to cry. I mean, can a heel turn heel? That's what I put on Twitter. I mean, it seemed like she's a heel that's already going heel. You can't turn heel on the fans when you're already a heel. Doesn't make any sense. So I thought maybe she's quitting. Maybe this is her way of saying she's retiring, or, you know, she's just taking her ball and going home. Maybe she'll get traded to Raw. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the point of it is. And, you know, if we see her tomorrow night, or I'm sorry, on Tuesday night, wrestling on SmackDown in a random match, you're going to be like, what the hell is the point of that promo? So we'll have to see where that goes in the future. So all we have left now is the tag team match and the world title match. So we'll talk about that here in a second. I'm going to scroll through some of these comments here in the chat and maybe go over to Twitter and see if you guys have anything to say. Oh, a bunch of stuff on Twitter. Okay, that's too much to read on Twitter. Let me stay here. Let's one thing at a time. Baby steps. A couple of you are saying that you were at Clash of Champions. How was the I wish I could read your name, buddy. But how was the crowd? You know, were they dead as they sounded at times on TV here, or were they a little more lively? Jesus. Just reading. Sorry. Yeah, don't worry. I'll be talking about the XFL and all that here in just a little bit. That's crazy news, huh? Man. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like exactly the XFL. I mean, Vince McMahon is funding some sort of new company, and they do have football on the mind, so they could resurrect a form of the XFL, but I don't know if it would be called the XFL. And they did file a bunch of trademarks, too, so whatever it is, it's going to be that, UFL or some shit. So whatever those trademarks are, that's probably what they would name the league if they had a league. But that is, that's kind of strange. I mean, Vince is, you know, in his 70s. You know, he's going to be 80 years old soon. You know, he's going to be leaving a lot of shit for Triple H and Stephanie to deal with. You know, if now they're taking on a whole nother company. Please concentrate on WWE. Please. You know, Jesus, you guys need all the help you can fucking get right now. Yeah, so you guys are just kind of chatting here in the comments. Nothing too crazy for me to acknowledge here. Orton looks sexy tonight. What is going on with Randy Orton's hair? I mean, I can't talk. I can't criticize people's hair because look at my ass. But what I don't understand is why every single guy in the world, every single guy in the world has that shaved on the sides, long on top haircut. What the fuck is going on there? I mean, at one point does, you know, if everybody in the world is doing it, isn't it not trendy anymore? I don't know. But, I mean, it's just overdone. I just see it everywhere. But Randy Orton's trying to grow his hair out now. I guess that's the thing. But he just looked fine the way he is. Don't fuck with your hair. It just looks funny. I guess it's looking better now. At first, when he started growing it, I was like, who's he trying to be? Like Rocky Maivia? 1996? Jesus Christ. But anyway, speaking of Orton, yeah, he might be having a midlife crisis. If I could grow hair like that, I probably would too. I'd look like a fucking moron. But I'd probably do it. I just can't. So I'm rocking the Stone Cold. So the tag team match was another one I predicted wrong, and I knew I was going to get this one wrong, but I wanted to predict an unpopular choice here because I wanted to look like a genius if I was right. I actually thought Orton and Shinsuke would win this match somehow, and Owens and Zayn would be fired, only to be written back into TV, you know, a week or a couple weeks or whatever. So that didn't happen, though. Owens and Zayn got the victory here. This match wasn't good, man. It really wasn't. I didn't enjoy it at all, especially at first. I guess it got better at the end, and then we got, you know, the big confrontation with Shane and Daniel Bryan, which was interesting. But the match itself, there was too much going on. First of all, you don't even have the normal referees that you would have that are good at communicating with the guys in the ring and timing shit and calling spots and letting those guys know what they need to be doing and shit like that. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon aren't used to doing that. And so you already had 4 guys in the ring. Orton and Shinsuke, it's not like they've worked together a ton in their careers. Shinsuke just got there. And, you know, so that's already a strange, you know, foursome as it is. And then you're going to add 2 referees that never referee ever. You know, this was what I was worried about. I was just like, you know, nobody's going to know what's going on. It's going to be clunky or sloppy, and, you know, it's not going to come off right. There's going to be poor communication, and it was kind of exactly that. And I guess Daniel Bryan and Shane made a rule to where they divided the ring in half, and Shane had to stay on his side, and Daniel Bryan had to stay on his side. But that makes no sense because so much of the action goes on in the middle of the ring. How do you know whose side you're on? It's just... it was too much focus on the referees, which was the point of this match. I get it. We have to further what's going on with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. I get that. And if this does wind up becoming a match in the future between the two and Daniel Bryan actually gets back in the ring, then yeah, this is a perfect way to start this whole thing. And it better lead to that. Otherwise, this is pointless. I don't want to see anybody wrestle on Daniel Bryan's behalf. I have no intention, or no interest, I should say, in seeing Shane McMahon wrestle anybody other than Daniel Bryan at this point. You know, with everything that's been going on, they've been GM and commissioner now of SmackDown for over a year, and, you know, they've been building this essentially that long till where eventually there's going to be a conflict. We've already seen that on Raw because Stephanie can't get along with fucking anybody, and Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, everything's been cool till now, and shit's starting to hit the fan. So, you know, I want to see a match here. So I can live with what happened tonight if we do in fact get that. But, you know, we did get the good spot on the table. Kevin Owens hit the splash on Shinsuke Nakamura on the announce table. That was good. And other than that, it was just a struggle between Shane and Daniel Bryan. Shane McMahon jumped over and countered a couple times on the wrong side of the ring. There was a couple of pushing and shoving, you know, matches going on with Shane and Daniel Bryan. Shane accidentally hit Daniel Bryan in the eye at one point. And then I guess it was Shane McMahon had, I think, a pin on Sami Zayn. You know, he was about to be countered out, and then Kevin Owens pushed Daniel Bryan, and he landed on Shane McMahon, and Shane hurt his back, and then he's like, what are you doing, or whatever. And then finally, I think we get another roll-up. We get a roll-up on Randy Orton, I think. Sami Zayn's got Randy Orton rolled up in a pinning combination. Shane runs over to count the 3, and he stops at 2, purposely screwing over Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which leads to the finish where we have Daniel Bryan, who's pissed now that Shane McMahon did it. They're even going nose to nose. They got their foreheads together. They're pushing. They're shoving. I thought that Shane was going to attack Daniel Bryan. And I thought Daniel Bryan was going to reverse it and put that motherfucker in the yes lock. I was hoping so hard for that. That didn't quite happen, but there was some physicality there, which is promising. But the ending saw, I think it was, did Sami Zayn roll up Randy Orton again? And Daniel Bryan, basically as revenge against Shane McMahon, counted a really fast 3 count. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn got the victory. Oh, shit. Nope. Don't even start that. Is there really mic issues? Grizzly, I'm going to block your ass if you're serious. Let me check. Okay, see, some of you guys, see, stop fucking with me, dickheads. I don't know why I let you fucking stay on here, Grizzly. You should have been blocked last fucking week. Wow, we got a good amount of people watching this here. Let me hear what it sounds like. And, it sounds fine, dickhead. Go fuck your mother. I'm sick of you, actually, Grizzly. Okay. You know what, Grizzly? How about fix your face? Let's just remove you altogether. Fuck off. Sick of that guy. He'll be back in a minute under some other account because he probably has 50 accounts, but I'll block him. Where was I with the finish of the Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon match? Why don't we just call it that? But that's exactly what it was, and I think that his 3 count wasn't necessarily a heel turn because that was the big speculation. Oh, is Daniel Bryan going to turn heel on Shane McMahon? And I didn't really see that happening because Daniel Bryan is so over. Fans love him. They don't want to boo Daniel Bryan. Nobody does. I think I'm reading, you guys are all laughing. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, so the troll is gone. Tell me to fix my microphone. That's probably what happened last week. But yeah, I think Daniel Bryan just going heel wouldn't be a good idea. I mean, the fans love this guy, the yes chant, everything like that. Not that Daniel Bryan can't do it. Some of you pointed out that he's been a heel before, prior to WWE. Yeah, I know that, but he was not as over as he was. I mean, he's the only guy currently in the business that can get every person in that building chanting for him. And that's hard to do in this day and age when the wrestling fans are so divided and everybody is, you know, so anti whatever WWE wants to do. If you can have one guy that everybody loves universally across the board, that's rare. So no need to shake that up. I think this was pretty well written to where Daniel Bryan doing the fast count was more in retaliation to Shane McMahon. He was pissed at Shane. He just fucked over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So since they should have won anyway, that was his intention there in the fast 3 count. So I think Daniel Bryan will stay babyface. Him and Shane now will probably go nose to nose on Tuesday night. We might see some punches thrown. We might not. If they build this for Mania, we got a long way to go here. You know, so, you know, what are they going to do if the conflict is already there? You know, are they going to have to do something to where Daniel Bryan gets fired or relieved of his duties, takes a few weeks off, and then comes back and confronts Shane McMahon, and then that leads to a match at Mania? You know, if all this is starting right now, we've got like 3 months, and that's going to be a long time. We've got over 3 months, 3.5 months to build this thing to Mania, if that's what they're doing. I don't know. So yeah, even if he turns heel, the fans probably would still cheer him. Shane McMahon is a shitty ref. They're both shitty refs. I mean, that's the one lesson we took away from this, is that they both suck. And 2 of these guys together, the 2 guys in charge, made a less competent referee than just any of the old regular fucks they have out there. So I didn't really like that part of the storyline either, because it was just too much It was just too much referee going on. I just don't like it. But I guess it was just a way to further all of this. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn now keep their jobs, so WWE doesn't have to worry about writing something to where they're reinstated or whatever. So I guess we'll find out more on Tuesday. Yeah, I'll be getting up soon to get a beer, and when I do, I'll grab you one, Robert. No problem. Yeah, Owens and Zayn, you know, they're heels. That's a good example. They're heels and they get cheered because they're too goddamn entertaining to not cheer them. They're both good heels. Sami Zayn, he more than exceeded expectations with his heel turn. He's been great. Baron Corbin should be a referee, yeah. How long until Ziggler loses the title to Rude? I don't know. I think Ziggler could lose it back to Corbin. You know, Corbin's going to get the match first. He'll invoke a rematch clause. I joked on Twitter he might lose it on Tuesday. This coming up Tuesday. So, yeah, I don't know how long we're going to get Dolph with that belt, but, you know, at least it's a victory. At least that's something. I mean, how sad is it that Dolph Ziggler's situation, he wins the U.S. belt, the same belt that John Cena and Roman Reigns have held in the last couple of years, and not even excited about it because we know that it's probably not going to amount to anything in the long run. But, you know, he's even already worked with AJ. I mean, a champion versus champion match, him versus AJ Styles would be fun. That would be a good Christmas episode, SmackDown, if they did Dolph versus AJ, you know, main event. Put the title on the line or not, it could just be a really good, fun match for the fans to watch. I wouldn't complain. No, not a big fan of Guinness. That's too heavy for me. Yeah, I like IPAs and stuff, but I don't like the stouts. They're just thick. I don't like any beer that like tastes like chocolate and shit. Some of my friends are really into those types of beers, and I just don't. They're not my thing. Oh, Mojo versus Bobby Roode for the U.S. title at Mania? I hope not. Yeah, this has been a heel year in wrestling. You're right. How do you make a YouTube channel? Go to YouTube. Hit create account. Done. I don't know, W. Turner. I mean, what can Dolph do to his look to really change it up? I mean, unless he went in a completely opposite direction type of character, he's still flash and sparkles and all that. You know, he's doing the no music thing, only sometimes, though, because didn't I see him on Tuesday, this past week on SmackDown, come out to his music? And then tonight on the pay-per-view, he came out to the no music gimmick again. So, I don't even think WWE, for as much as they micromanage everything, it's funny that they cannot be consistent with something like that. And they can't make up their fucking minds what they want to do to this guy. So, you know, Dolph Ziggler, you know, any sort of image change, he'd have to go extreme with it. He'd have to dye his hair black, wear all black, you know, have a different attitude, maybe not talk at all, you know, completely type of different music. I'm not even a big fan of his music as it is. That's why I don't mind the no music thing. So Dolph would have to change a lot, but, you know, I don't know. Dolph's in a strange place right now. I don't know what to make of that. So is there anything else to mention about the tag team match before I talk about the main event? Because there's not much to talk about there either. Where do you guys think this is going to lead with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon? These guys are going to work Mania or not? What do you think? I don't know if Bobby Roode will necessarily get the TNA guy treatment. I don't think it's like WCW. I mean, WWE really had it out for WCW guys. It felt like, you know, I don't know if that was necessarily the case, but it was always harder for those guys to get over because they were the enemy for so long. But, you know, TNA treatment, what the hell does that mean? Look at AJ Styles. AJ was the face of TNA, and he's now the face of SmackDown, multi-time WWE champion, and a guy that WWE thrust to the top of the card immediately from him arriving into the WWE. You know, right from the beginning. Came out of the Royal Rumble to a huge pop, worked a big match with Jericho at the Rumble, wound up working with Cena and winning the WWE title from Ambrose, and, you know, did a lot of great things and beat a lot of guys. So AJ's been treated well by WWE. As long as somebody is like that is over and great in the ring. Bobby Roode isn't quite as good in the ring as AJ, though. You know, AJ is just so amazing. But Bobby Roode is still somebody that's over, and he's a great presentation. That entrance is probably the best thing he's got going for him, honestly. But yeah, he should probably think about turning heel. I wouldn't mind seeing it because his babyface run sucks. Exactly. Samoa Joe, same thing. He's been treated extremely well. He was a monster in NXT, and he's been a monster on WWE. He's not going to win them all. You know, he's lost to Brock Lesnar, and he'll probably eventually lose to Roman Reigns if they fight, because he's already defeated Roman Reigns a couple of times. But that doesn't mean he's being treated poorly just because he loses to a couple of, you know, other top guys on the card. Overall, Samoa Joe's been treated very well, and he should not be fucking complaining. Happy Rusev Day to you too. So, you know, speaking of the world title and stuff, I guess we'll talk about that final match now. How long have we been going here? Oh, 40 minutes, all right. I didn't want to blow through the results too quickly. I wanted to kind of slow it down. Take things slow, you know what I mean? A little foreplay. But AJ and Jinder, like I said earlier in the beginning of the stream, my network, my WWE network, was working like shit. I don't know what was going on. I had it on 3 different computers, a TV, and a phone. Could not get it to really pull up. So it was just extremely choppy. I could only see like 10 seconds at a time. And then I was asking you guys on Twitter what was going on with the match. And then finally I saw AJ holding up the belt. And I'm like, okay, AJ won. I didn't even know how he won. So you guys tell me that Jinder tapped out to the calf crusher. And that was the end of that. So, whew, thank God, right? Jinder is probably done in the world title picture. And like I said earlier, I'm curious to know what his future will be. I mean, it was only about an 8-month run there, push, that he got. I mean, he was... When did all this start for him? When did it start? Did it start February, March, around... I mean, I remember he was like the runner-up in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, right? Wasn't he in there with Mojo last? So that seems like when I first noticed that Jinder was... you know, somebody that was going to be taken a little bit more seriously. Then he ended up winning the title around May, or in this, maybe June, whenever the hell that was. And here we are, December, and he's done. Good. It just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. The guy was not over. Fans did not really like him. Didn't want to see him. He's not that great in the ring. His matches are not that good. You know, I mean, even tonight you guys were saying that the match was just decent. You know, I mean, it was just kind of an... You know, something that we're not going to go years remembering, because AJ, I think, did his best with what he could with Jinder, but overall the match was not, you know, like a 5-star affair or whatever. So the most we could hope for tonight was that AJ held on to the belt. He did, thank God, because if Jinder would have won, that means we're probably going to get Jinder and Cena at Mania. Now AJ Styles is seemingly going to move on to another challenger here, and he'll have a title match at the Royal Rumble. I'm really hoping that's not Jinder Mahal. I'm hoping that's done. So aside from Jinder Mahal, who does AJ work with at the Rumble? Do they want to save AJ Shinsuke for Mania and put AJ in the ring with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, somebody like that at the Royal Rumble? Because he doesn't really have a storyline right now with anybody, so I'm assuming they're going to have to, you know, they're going to have to do some sort of a match to determine a #1 contender and who AJ will face at WrestleMania. Brian Watts, hello. This is my first time seeing your show live, and your show is awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody, by the way, for all the kind thoughts in this. So, you know, I'm just kind of curious what AJ does from here, and I really hope that they don't find a way to do one more match with Jinder. If you ask me, this needs to be over and done with. So AJ maybe can survive. He's going to have to survive 2 more challengers, right? You know, 2 more pay-per-views before he gets to WrestleMania. So who will those guys be? Do you think John Cena would get another shot if he came to SmackDown? You know, I don't think so. I don't see any need to do him and John Cena again. We saw that last year. And, you know, we saw those 2 guys trade victories. As far as I'm concerned, they should be done, at least for right now. I can't see them bringing John Cena in to face AJ just for AJ to beat him. And I don't really want to see that vice versa either. But John Cena's got to win that 17th world title. And Nakamura is another guy that owns a victory over John Cena. So if they do the Nakamura versus AJ match at Mania, Nakamura wins the belt. Maybe Cena takes it off of him during the summer, or maybe even SummerSlam, if they want to stretch out Cena's 17th win that long. John Cena has not had very good luck at SummerSlam in recent years. So I don't know if that would be the place. They might want to have Cena break that record at WrestleMania. That could still happen. We might get John Cena versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania for the belt. But let's hope not. Let's hope they go with that AJ Shinsuke match. That could be Big Bird 1, 2, 3, 4. You bring up a good point there. The match at Royal Rumble could in fact be AJ versus Sami versus Kevin Owens. Unless, what, did they announce that already or some shit on Talking Smack? I don't know. They might have. Shit, WWE sometimes doesn't waste any time these days announcing this crap. But that could be. And we could also see a triple threat on the Raw side, because I'm just kind of peeking through some news here. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. But I was thinking that we could also see that on the Raw side, because I didn't even mention this in my Raw review last week, that, you know, Kane and Braun Strowman are battling to see who faces Brock at the Rumble, and I was speculating, oh, who's going to wind up winning this thing? It was like a double count out last week. They're probably going to wrestle again and determine who goes on to face Brock, but what if they both do? And that might actually work, because if you did Brock versus Strowman and Kane, that match isn't going to be too fun to look at, especially after what we saw with Brock and AJ at Survivor Series. But if they do that, at least Strowman, you know, at least Brock, if he wins and goes on to Mania as champion, at least you can get out of that match without beating Strowman again. Because he lost to Brock, and that seemed kind of pointless, and it kind of halted all of his momentum. He seems to have bounced back from that, much like he bounced back from his loss to Roman at Fastlane. So if they just put him in the ring again, one-on-one with Brock, and Brock beats him again, what's the point of that? Other than killing Strowman, what do you accomplish? You don't accomplish anything. You know, Brock's been a dominant champion. He doesn't need to prove that anymore. He's beaten everybody, including Samoa Joe and Strowman. Why beat one of them again? So I think, you know, I think if they did the triple threat, that could be a better option for Kane to take the pin instead of Braun Strowman. So I'll talk more about that this coming week when I talk about Raw. And as of right now, as far as tomorrow night, oh, Crash. As far as tomorrow night goes, Crash wants to know where Southern MicWork is. I forgot about him. He's here. Tomorrow night, I should be home to watch Raw. I don't know if I'm going to come up here and do a live stream or not. I might. If you guys tell me on Twitter, GoodMicWork, get your ass up there and do a live stream, man. If you tell me that on Twitter, if you give me like 750 million tweets telling me to do a live stream on Monday, I'll come up here and give you a live stream. So there's your Southern MicWork. That's all I want to do with that tonight. Some of you think it's awesome, and some of you hate it. And I think both reactions are equally entertaining for me. But yeah, if I can come up here tomorrow night and do a live stream after Raw, I'll do it. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Good Mike Twerk does not exist. So overall, let's go back to Twitter and just see if anybody else has voted on my poll. I don't get very many voters when I do polls. A couple hundred sometimes, but nothing crazy in the thousands. Yeah, nobody's even voted on this thing. 108 votes. Not much. Still the same. Most people say the pay-per-view was just okay. But like I said earlier, I think that number would be a lot greater if Jinder Mahal would have won the belt tonight. Everybody would have said, oh shit, this pay-per-view sucked. That would have been a good poll question. If Jinder Mahal would have won the belt tonight, would this been what pay-per-view would have been worse? Tonight's Clash of Champions or December to Dismember back in 2006, whatever that god-awful pay-per-view was in December? I'm curious to know which one the fans would think sucked more. Man, thank God AJ won, I'll tell you. So that is your Clash of Champions in a nutshell. I am maybe going to talk about some other stuff now. I forgot what I even put up on the screen. Yeah, so, you know, as far as Raw and SmackDown goes, tomorrow night on Raw, I forgot where we left off. I don't even know what we're going to see. SmackDown, we're going to get the fallout from Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. I'm sure there's going to be some big confrontation there. Dolph Ziggler might have to put the U.S. belt on the line, and hopefully we'll find out who AJ Styles' next opponent or next challenger for the WWE title is going to be. But that's pretty much all we're probably going to see on SmackDown, just the furthering of those storylines, and hopefully SmackDown gets better, because lately the shows have been ass. So I'm hoping that Tuesday night SmackDown will be a little bit better, because there is a lot going on right now with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. I'm just perusing here, just seeing how our stream is looking. Stuff's good. About 50 minutes in here. Everything looks good. We look good. We sound good. Man, I really apologize for last week. That pissed me off so bad, you guys have no idea. Anywho. I'm surprised that guy that I blocked hasn't tried to come back in here under another account. Don't you have like 1,000 of them, dude? Yeah, my liver is very thankful that AJ Styles won. I did not want to deal with that. I was even started to speculate on what I was going to say, you know, if Jinder won, because, you know, I was predicting some different title matches or some different title changes in the show. And once we saw Charlotte retain, all we saw was Dolph Ziggler win the U.S. belt. I kind of thought we would see 2 title changes on this show. So once Charlotte retained, I'm like, oh, fuck. You know, the Usos retained, Charlotte retained. Jinder could win the belt. And plus that match was the main event. That's what I said in my predictions video. It depends on where they place the match. And if it's earlier on in the card, I was confident that AJ would hold on to the belt. But if it closed the show, I felt like it could go either way there. But with Owens and Zayn winning, that would have closed the show out with 2 heels winning to finish off this pay-per-view, and that's something that's kind of rare. So I still had a feeling AJ was going to win, but I'll tell you, part of me was nervous, was very nervous, and I was saying so on Twitter. So, anyway, why don't we talk about the latest potential WWE venture? I forgot the name of that company. I'll wait for you guys to tell me below. So Vince McMahon is funding some upstart company, and they're going to be an entertainment company, and they're going to be doing all sorts of different stuff, and they have talked about doing some form of professional football. Apparently, they feel that NFL is in need of some competition, especially right now. NFL is a little bit controversial, with all the CTE stuff and the concussion crap, and then, of course, the dreaded kneeling during the theme song. Everybody's all up in arms about that. So some people might be looking for an alternative to the NFL. So if Vince started a company, maybe it could work. And I think a lot of us have had the opinion that the XFL not necessarily could have stayed around. We saw the documentary on them and the stories that have been told about the XFL. WWE made a lot of mistakes along the way trying to turn it into a football version of the WWE with all the stupid stuff added in and the skits and the comedy and all the dumb shit. They were going a little bit too far with it, and it just wasn't taken seriously from day one. This seems like it could be a completely different thing, to where Vince McMahon's name isn't going to be plastered all over it. They're not going to have The Rock there. They're not going to have Jim Ross calling football games and shit like that. This is going to be maybe a more legitimate league. And with all those trademarks they filed, this might be something that could be in the works in the next 5 years or so. And who knows? I mean, maybe it's just something that Vince McMahon personally wants to rectify in his own head. Maybe he feels he made so many mistakes with the XFL, an idea that on paper was actually not that bad. It was just executed like ass, and everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And maybe he wants to right that wrong and try to take another stab at this football shit and turn it into something. Who knows? But to me, as a wrestling fan, this is a business venture that I don't find necessary. I don't know why they need to expand anymore. They're already making movies. They're already doing so much stuff. And I remember back when the XFL came around that kind of divided Vince McMahon's attention a little bit. And I remember people at that time on the hotlines and the dirt sheets were actually saying so. Around 01 during the invasion angle and shit, it was a terrible angle. And it didn't really, it wasn't much. And I think a lot of people, blame WCW's contract situation. WWE simply couldn't get their hands on enough big names, but also they didn't utilize the ones that they had very well because their attention was also focused on the XFL, and it started off so well. They had those great ratings for the first couple of weeks. I think Vince McMahon got really excited, and he started paying too much attention to that and less attention to WWE. So as long as the focus on wrestling, well, come to think of it, now that I think about it, maybe a little bit less focus on wrestling would actually be a good thing. If Vince McMahon's attention is diverted into this other company, maybe that's less shit for him to micromanage in WWE. So maybe in some sort of weird, bizarre way, this could actually be a good thing. I don't know. But I don't know what the XFL is going to, or the new WWE Football League is going to be like. And plus, leagues that are owned by one person, that's different, than the NFL. That's structured a different way. And plus now everything's so regulated, especially with head injuries and stuff. Back in the XFL days, they were promoting hard-hitting smash mouth type of football. They don't want to be promoting knocking guys' heads off in this new league. So it's probably going to be a much toned down version, which is why I don't think they're going to call it the XFL. If they call it anything at all. This was just speculation. This might not even happen. This new venture of Vince McMahon's might not even decide to do the football thing, but it was something that was tossed around, and the trademarks that were filed got people talking, and we're probably looking way ahead, and who knows if WWE or Vince will even go through with this. But I would love to see Vince maybe start passing the torch a little bit, because he's old, and he's not going to be able to, he doesn't want to remain in full control forever, because then when he dies, it all falls into everybody's lap. You should gradually work Triple H into that role. And Stephanie's kind of already there. We know she's going to be a nightmare owner of WWE, if what we've seen from her on television is any indication and how she treats people. She is the female version of Vince McMahon. I believe that. She is definitely her father's daughter. And I think when she gets older, you know, when Vince is long dead and Stephanie is in her 60s and stuff, she's going to be an absolute nightmare. She's not going to be a sweetheart like Linda. She's going to be a mess. And everybody's going to fucking hate her. And then in 40 years, we're going to be talking about Stephanie, or maybe 30 years, talking about Stephanie being out of touch. And she needs to hurry up and die and pass the company on to her kid or whatever happens. So Vince McMahon, I guess the more I think about this as I'm thinking out loud, as I'm talking about this new business venture, maybe this is a good thing after all. You know, any distraction from him being a maniac behind the scenes in WWE, I think is going to be positive for the WWE product. So if he starts concentrating on that, giving Triple H some more responsibility in WWE, you know, maybe making Triple H the lead guy, you go to him now, you know, just as a way to slowly incorporate Triple H into that role. I mean, he's already there too. I mean, Triple H is a big part of that company, but you got to think that him and Stephanie are going to be the ones to fill Vince's shoes. And like I said, it's better to gradually work them in than to throw it all at him overnight, which is what will happen if Vince remains in the role that he does until he dies. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. If I was in my 70s, I would not be starting up new companies. I'd be relaxing. But Vince McMahon is not me, that's for sure. Who were the Patriots of the XFL and who was the Tom Brady of the XFL? I don't know, Domination Warrior. I barely remember. I remember who was the guy? He was a quarterback. He was a backup quarterback for the Steelers. Maddox. Something Maddox, I think. He was actually in the XFL, and then he went on to have some success in the NFL after that. He's the only guy I can think of. And I know there was some other XFL guys that did go to the NFL, but he's the only one that I can think of that had any success. And I could be wrong. There might be some others. But he's the only guy. Tommy Maddox, maybe that's his name. I could be wrong there. But he's the only guy that I can think of that transitioned into the NFL. It was basically like a minor league type of deal. And the play was not very good either. You know, poorly coached teams and stuff like that. And, you know, it was a mess. XFL was a mess. Yeah, I agree with that there. Oh, okay. We've got some interesting comments in there. Yeah, Tommy Maddox, I was right. So, yeah, I don't know. Rod Smart, Tyler Robinson, you're saying, was another guy? I'm trying to think who Rod Smart was. No. Jesus, you guys. Grow up with these comments, man. Okay. So I'm just going to set some boundaries here. You guys can have as much fun as you want in the comments. Say whatever you want, but don't be crazy. Jesus. You know, like, just don't be so over the top. Like, what the fuck? That's not going to get you attention. It's going to get you blocked. And I don't block. You guys know me. Yeah, right, Floss63, why are there a bunch of trolls in here? I haven't read too many. I just saw a couple guys. Yeah, let's just get rid of... Oh, yeah, and if none of you have profile pictures, I know you're fucking trolls. So, if I just see a big fucking green box, then, yeah, fuck off. All right. Well, sometimes you gotta deal with that, you know? Plus, it's a post-pay-per-view live stream. There's probably a few more people watching than normal. What is our audience number up to right now? 200 people. Not bad. What's up, 200 of you? So yeah, 200 people watching me right now, and 3 of you are trolls. That's fine. That's not a bad percentage. Oh, he hate me. He hate me was Rod Smart, and he played for the Panthers. That's a good team. How about that shit, huh? The Panthers, the Carolina Panthers owner, got in a little bit of trouble. He's going to sell the team. I thought the whole thing went away. I read a story that he settled with all of the people that filed complaints on him for workplace misconduct. I don't know if that was sexual. There was some rumors that it was sexual. There was some rumors that it was racial. And he's kind of an old, rich, white man. And I remember when they drafted Cam Newton, he made Cam Newton promise that he wouldn't get tattoos and he wouldn't get dreads and shit like that. You know, I'm like, what the fuck? Cam can do whatever the hell he wants, man. As long as he's a good player. And how about don't get in trouble? Instead of tattoos and dreads, how about say, please don't get arrested. Please don't kill anybody. Please don't lock anybody in the trunk of your car. Please don't slap your wife in an elevator. Please don't do anything like that. But instead, he's like, don't get tattoos and dreads. Fuck off, old man. And then sure enough, he's a complete scumbag behind the scenes. And he tries to present this, you know, crispy, you know, this clean image of the Carolina Panthers. The Yankees are like that too. They won't let anybody have beards and shit, you know. And like, God, that just seems so crazy. I mean, I guess if you're paying me $20 million a year, you know, I'll shave my eyebrows for you. I don't give a shit what you want. But still, just to tell somebody not to do that, I think is silly. And then sure enough, you know, he's a scumbag behind the scenes and he acts improperly. And I thought he was just going to settle with the people that complained and it was just going to be kind of forgotten about. And then it was reported today that he's going to sell the team. And I think he's owned the team since they started. So, yeah, this is crazy what's going on right now. Everybody's getting in trouble. You hate AJ Styles? All right, makes one of you. I don't know too many people who hate AJ Styles. If you don't appreciate what AJ Styles does in the ring, I would sure as hell like to know what you do appreciate. Because that seems insane. Watch Andre the Giant and AJ Styles wrestle side by side. You tell me which guy is better. Xander Nabashanezer. I don't know how to say that. Non-wrestling question. Which you will not answer. Yes, I will. TV show. Which one do you prefer? Cheers or Frasier? Frasier. I actually do. I love Cheers. Grew up on Cheers. That was a famous sitcom. I have every single DVD of both of those shows sitting right here next to me. The entire series. One of my favorite shows ever, and probably, arguably, maybe the best sitcom of all time. Maybe behind Seinfeld, but I preferred Frasier. I just loved Frasier. I thought that was a brilliant show. Excellent writing. The dialogue was fantastic in that, and the characters and Niles and Daphne and the dad, the old man. It was just a good television show, and it was just a little bit more like intellectual sitcom, which I liked, if that's even possible. I mean, it wasn't like toilet humor, Full House type of sitcom. It was a sitcom for adults, and I liked it. And I really, really, really enjoyed Frasier. Still watch it to this day. Oh, that's good. That's a good idea, Tyler Harris. Somebody on Twitter came up with the idea of Vince McMahon buying the Panthers. He is originally from North Carolina. Yes, he is. Me and Vince McMahon attended the same college, and he should do that. Buy the Carolina Panthers. But no, I think as cool as that would be, I think he wants. I don't think he wants anything to do with the NFL. Zane Galoya, what are my thoughts on Lesnar's Royal Rumble opponent? I just talked about that a few minutes ago. You know, if they do another match between Braun Strowman and Kane, I think it's still going to be one of them, or it's going to be a triple threat. And the triple threat is sounding very likely. I think that match is kind of going to suck, but it's probably what they're going to do. Unless they go in a completely different direction and throw Finn Balor in a match, and he gets a victory somehow. What if they did a triple threat on Raw between Kane, Braun Strowman, and Finn Balor? I mean, I know that I don't know how they would even fit that in, and how would they even put Finn Balor in that position. But if they did, you know, Finn Balor could capitalize on all the brawling between Kane and Strowman and somehow score an upset win. He could go into Rumble to face Brock, and then Kane can have that retirement match that I've been screaming for forever at the Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar, or with Braun Strowman. I'm sorry. And plus, you know they're going to do something with Triple H and Strowman as well, because of what we saw at Survivor Series. So I'm worried that Triple H is going to play a hand in this, and god damn, we might actually get Triple H versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. Jesus Christ. Don't want to see that. Don't want to see that. What do you guys think they're going to do tomorrow night on Raw as far as Kane and Braun Strowman goes? Do you think we're getting another match, or do you think they're going to announce another match to take place? And what do you think they're going to do on that Christmas Day Raw? And then a month later, we've got the 25th anniversary Raw, right? And that's going to be like the simulcast from the Manhattan Center and all that shit. Taker's going to be on the show. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here. I don't know what the plans are. Do you guys want anything to drink? I'm going to go to the refrigerator, and the only reason I'm doing this, and thanks again, I believe it's Dustin that made me this one. This is a pretty good and appropriate logo for right now, considering how hot New Japan is. And the only reason I do that is because when I'm around my house, I don't wear clothes that are comfortable. I don't wear uncomfortable clothes. I wear clothes that I'm comfortable in, and like my around-the-house pants, and there's a big hole in my ass. And not my asshole, but there's a hole in the pants. And I don't want you guys to see my big, tight, juicy ass hanging out as I go over to the fridge to get a beer. But I refuse to wear jeans in my own home. I hate fucking wearing jeans as it is. And I'm wearing these pants that I think I purchased in 2004. And my left ass cheek is hanging out. And as beautiful as it is, I don't want you guys to get too excited in the comments. And pardon me, also my lighter's dead, so I'm using a fire stick from my fireplace. I'll be right with you. Talk amongst yourselves. What's good is the cats are leaving us alone. Which really makes me happy because I do not want the cats bothering me right now. But they'll be here. They'll make an appearance. You guys know that. Excuse me. Who is saying that AJ Styles is lazy? What kind of crazy motherfuckers are in this chat? See, that's the thing. You can say AJ Styles is lazy. You're not going to get blocked for that. You're only going to get blocked for, like, stupid-ass hate speech or really, really graphic language. Then I'll block your ass. But if you want to say something stupid like AJ sucks, go ahead. Say it all you want. I don't care. You have the right to your opinion. You just don't have a right to be a fuckface in this live stream. I will not let you. Kasan Karari, yes, I am. Boy, you remember their names? Kron, Tito, and Bub? Yeah, they'll be around. They were here when I started. Actually, I see Tito. He is passed out on the couch. And Bub, I don't know where he is. He'll be here, though. Actually, I said his name, and he just... Fuck. Damn it. I just said his name, and he meowed in the other room. I'm worried that he's going to be moseying in here into my lap here soon. But it's all right. He can join us. We're done talking about the pay-per-view now. We're just talking about other stuff. What else was I going to get into? Excuse me. In the beginning of the show, you guys see on the screen here, rest in peace, Tom Zink. I did talk about him right at the beginning of the stream. I was planning on talking about him a little bit later, but I talked about him at the beginning for some reason, so if you want to hear that, you can rewind. Very sad to hear about Tom Zink's passing. I mentioned my memories of him, and, you know, that kind of surprised me. That kind of came out of nowhere. The other news I want to get into is the sad news of Just Incredible. Did you guys see that video? Fucking A, you know. He's not doing well. I guess he crashed an indie show. He was wasted, completely hammered off of his ass. I think he was booked for the show, if I read the story correctly. He was booked for the show, but he showed up fucked up. They didn't let him work. And then he just ran in the ring out of nowhere and demanded a microphone right in the middle of the show. Tried to cut a promo. Even the wrestlers didn't know what the fuck was going on. The promoter came out there and got involved and was talking to him a little bit. It didn't look like a work. And probably in today's day and age, with everybody, especially wrestlers, having so many issues with substance abuse, you know, we've seen it with Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts. They've done similar things like this in the past. This is not something you want to make an angle out of, even if it's on the independents, even if it's on the lowest level. I just don't think you want to go there. And so I don't really see that being a work. I think this is a true shoot. I think Justin was fucked up off his ass and hammered and got in the ring, and he's got problems. And some of these guys just cannot... They can't get it together, you know. Marty Jannetty, I make fun of him all the time because he's just a complete moron on Facebook. And he says the dumbest, most insane things, and he's just completely fucked up on drugs all the time. And you can tell that by reading his posts. It's just it's a mess of sentence fragments. It's misspelled, you know, bragging about the rats that he's fucking at his age. And he's just pathetic. And now... Just Incredible looks like he's, you know, making an ass of himself too. I just hope he gets the help he needs. You know, he's a Click member, you know, isn't he? He's like an honorary Click member. I mean, he was in that group, you know, so, I mean, I'm hoping that Sean Waltman, you know, who's probably of everybody the closest with him, reaches out to him or something. Nash, Hall, anybody, especially Scott Hall, you know, who's been there and done that before. And there's embarrassing video of Scott Hall that exists of him kind of doing the same thing. You know, so DDP cannot save everybody. You know, I knew a lot of people were going to start talking about DDP. But, what are you guys talking about in there? Breezy600, Greg, you're ungrateful for blocking Grizzly, who is a longtime sub and patron. I'm very sorry. I didn't know Grizzly was a patron on Patreon. I appreciate it. And I appreciate his support, but he's messing with me. He's telling me to fix my microphone and shit. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to fall for that. So I was getting pissed. Plus, the language he uses is insane. You know, Mr. I microwave cum and gargle it in my mouth. Like, what the fuck are you saying that for? So, I'm not ungrateful. I mean, all I ask is you don't act like a fucking moron in the comments section. Like, what the hell? So, how hard is that to do? You know, it's not hard to be an adult. I had no idea that he supported me on Patreon. I guess he's probably not going to support me anymore, but I stand my decision to block him, and I'd fucking do it again. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, just incredible. So we got to get this dude some help, man. I don't know what he's been up to. I know he's actually had regular jobs since leaving the wrestling business years ago. I can't remember what he was doing. Oh yeah, maybe Breezy is Grizzly. I don't know. Just no more stupid language, and you can stay in here. You can hang out as long as you want. But yeah, just incredible. You know, he's done some other things outside of wrestling, and I know he's had some regular jobs. I knew that he was no saint. I knew that he wasn't completely clean and sober and had his life all together, but I didn't think he was like this far of a fuck up either. So he's kind of feels like he's hitting, you know, a bad part in his life. I don't know how he's doing financially. I don't know what kind of money he makes or what he's even up to. But maybe, you know, if his life is kind of on the decline, maybe if he's suffering from financial problems, maybe he's turning to more drugs and alcohol, and it's just a downward spiral, man. Downward fucking spiral. So I wish him the best. And I don't know, has he said anything on social media? Does he even have a Twitter account? I don't even know. Has he addressed this? Has he said he's sorry? Has he acknowledged anything at all? I'm curious. Jean-Michael Cobb, what's up? Hey, GoodMicWork, who is beating Brock if Roman gets injured WrestleMania season? I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping Roman doesn't get injured. I know a lot of fans would probably beg to differ, but I don't want to see Roman get injured. If he did, that's a really good example of what part of the problem is in WWE these days, because WWE, Vince McMahon, gets their mind set on somebody as their new poster boy, and so much goes into that basket that, you know, you have other big players, you have other main event players, don't get me wrong, you know, namely Braun Strowman, who I feel is just right up there, but they've already given him some losses. So the problem with that is you don't have another guy. You know, think of how lucky WWE was back in the Attitude Era to have The Rock and Stone Cold. They have not been able to recreate that since. They've tried with Cena and Orton. They've tried with Cena and Batista, and they've never really gotten there. They tried with Punk and Daniel Bryan. You know, they've never really achieved what they had with Rock and Austin, and they still really don't have that now. But if it was one guy on the Raw roster and one guy only to face Brock at WrestleMania and beat him for the belt, the only one that would make sense to me is Braun Strowman. Finn Balor would be awesome and be fun as fuck, and he deserves another shot at the title. He was the first ever Universal Champion. It would be nice to see him win it again. But is that who Brock's going to job to? You know, that would be crazy. You know, AJ almost had Brock beat. Finn beat AJ, so maybe Finn is good enough to beat Brock Lesnar. I don't know. But I still think, as far as positioning on the roster, you know, and their big-time go-to characters right now on the Raw brand, Strowman would have to be the guy to take the place of Brock, or take the place of Roman. I'm sorry. If I was single, would I date you? No. Because your face is a big brown box with a little silhouette of a head and a torso. So you're not very attractive. And I imagine that your lower unit is pretty gnarly because you're not even showing it here on the screen. Yeah, they could do AJ versus Brock, but what, unify the belts? You know, you can't do, I mean, how do you put AJ and Brock together again? Especially at WrestleMania. You know, unless AJ dropped the belt, got moved to Raw, and got the title shot, but they'd have to do a lot between now and WrestleMania to even write a scenario where that would be feasible. And plus, I like AJ on SmackDown. I really do. I like that that's going to be like his brand. It's AJ's little universe. That's his catchphrase. The house that AJ Styles built. I would like to see him continue that. There's a lot of great opponents he can work with on Raw. It would be fun to see AJ on Raw, but I think SmackDown needs to be AJ's home, the way it was for Kurt Angle or Eddie Guerrero or some of those guys back in the day when the brand split first started. All right, you guys are a little crazy in there. I got a bunch of new Twitter notifications. Let's see if there's any comments other than there's a few. Thank you, Zach Palgett. You love the live streams. Eric Melendez, Clash of Champions, best pay-per-view ever. I'd say there's about 200 of you that in the chat right now that disagree. Eagle on Twitter, would Ziggler benefit by joining the Bullet Club if he left WWE? Of course he would. Of course he would. That's my point. Get Ziggler out of the WWE. I mean, he'd be perfect for the Bullet Club, you know, just with his look and everything. And, you know, imagine a Dolph Ziggler and Young Bucks six-man. The three of those guys against somebody else. Three other guys, and they super kick their balls off. I mean, that would be fun, wouldn't it? You know, Ziggler and the Young Bucks. The third Buck, Dolph Ziggler, Daddy Buck, or whatever, you know, he could be. That would be fun to see. So, you know, if Ziggler, you know, no matter where he landed on the independent circuit, you know he's going to get at least as good of a payday as somebody like Cody Rhodes, because when you look at the level of stardom in the WWE, they're pretty much on equal footing. Ziggler was arguably a little bit higher than Cody because he's a former world champion. They're about equal in the ring. Just, they're both excellent in the ring. So I don't see value in one more than the other. So I think Ziggler should at least hope to be as successful as Cody if he did leave WWE. I hope that he does, man. I really do. You know, Ziggler versus Kenny Omega match, that would be fun. There's a lot of things he could do. So, I don't know. But he's got a belt around his waist right now. Any more Twitter stuff? Andrew Pike, Merry Early Christmas. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, too. Other than that, a lot of retweets. Lucas Dawson, Styles debut in 2016 Royal Rumble. 2017 defends WWE title. 2018 defends WWE title. Who'd have thought 3 years ago? Yeah, I guess I agree with you there. Lucas from Twitter. Wrestling Ramble, what's up? You're on Twitter as well. Good to see that you have the same idea you've been saying for years. Okay, you mentioned the Money in the Bank thing. The Money in the Bank holder holds it for 1 year, and cashing it in at the next Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and also winning a second briefcase, maybe before or after the title match. That's something interesting. I don't know if Carmella would be the person to do that, or if they can try it with somebody else next year, a male competitor. But yeah, they should eventually do that, because you're going to run out of ideas. You're going to run out of cash-in ideas. You've done pretty much everything now throughout the years. So the more new things they can do, the better. So that's something that I think they should try in the future at some point, whether it be this year, next year, 2 years from now. Who knows? Let's see what we got to say in the chat here. How long have we been going? Only an hour and 15 minutes, so I better start thinking about more shit to talk about, because I wanted to go at least 2 hours here. How to make mashed potatoes, that's one of the easiest things to do. You should be able to figure that out. Oh, what is for... I think you guys... Somebody asks me that every single stream. What is for dinner tonight? Tonight, I actually do have a plan for dinner. Shrimp scampi. Found some really good big jumbo tiger shrimp at the grocery store that had a really good price, and so I picked up like a pound of them, and I'm going to saute those up with a bunch of butter, a bunch of white wine, a bunch of lemon, some green onion, some bell pepper. Saute all that up, put over some linguine, Parmesan. Mwah. So that's on my menu for later tonight. Always look cool, 729. What are your thoughts on rumors about Goldberg, Ivory, Bam Bam Bigelow, Dudley Boyz, and Kid Rock getting inducted into the Hall of Fame next year? Those are all legit names, especially Bam Bam, especially Goldberg, especially the Dudleys. Kid Rock, as much as I hate to admit it, belongs there, because he did a lot of WWE music dating back 15 years now. I mean, the Undertaker song that he did, and I think he did... there was some video package they were doing all the time back in like 01 or 02 with a Kid Rock song. And he's done some live concerts on Raw and pay-per-views, I think, and he's a big WWE fan. So yeah, he belongs in the celebrity wing. The problem is, I hate Kid Rock. I fucking hate Kid Rock. He's from Michigan. I'm an Eminem guy through and through. Kid Rock can suck my balls. Fucking dick. Don't like him. Don't like him for obvious reasons. I think if you guys really think about it, you know why I don't like Kid Rock. But I cannot deny that he doesn't belong in the celebrity wing. If Lemmy's going in, Kid Rock more than deserves to be in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. So yeah, those are good names. Somebody else, I think it was Brandon. Was it Brandon Austin on Twitter? You shot me some names on the Hall of Fame this year, and you also mentioned Undertaker, Goldberg, I think Ivory. Christian was another one I think is a really good candidate. And Umaga. I still think Umaga is a guy that's going to stay out for a while. Not that he's necessarily not Hall of Fame worthy. It's just his run as Umaga was only a couple of years. And it was awesome, don't get me wrong. But, you know, he was released and then he died, you know, with the drug overdose and stuff. And, you know, I think Umaga is a guy that can go in at some point, but probably not right now. If he did go in, Roman Reigns would probably induct him or something like that. But I think Umaga is a guy that's going to stay out for now. I think he can go in the future, though. But Bam Bam Bigelow is a name that, you know, is right up there at the top. What are they waiting for with Bam Bam Bigelow? Dudley Boys, yeah, because Devon is still around. I know Bubba's on good terms with WWE. He could easily come back. Devon, I think, is an agent. So now would be a good time to do the Dudley Boys because they're kind of fresh in our minds. They were recently on WWE TV before finally ending the team and Devon retiring. So Dudleys are an excellent choice. And like I said earlier, if they don't do Undertaker this year, because he is going to have a presence on the 25th anniversary Raw. We don't know what he's doing there and if he's going to have an appearance or even a match. I really hope that he doesn't. But if it's not Undertaker, I think it needs to be Goldberg. I put on Twitter yesterday that I finally watched the Goldberg 24 episode on the WWE Network. I wasn't even aware that this special existed until recently. I don't know how I missed it, and I never really got around to watching it. I think it was Friday night. I got home really late after work and turned it on in bed, watched the whole thing, and it was really good. I've liked them all. They've done that. They do Daniel Bryan. They did Seth Rollins. I've liked all of them that they've done. This one might have been my favorite. I mean, they've all been spectacular. But the Goldberg one was nice just because I've always had a strong opinion of Goldberg. Back in my younger days, my tape trading smarkier days, I hated Goldberg. I felt that he was completely manufactured and he was very green in the ring. But you couldn't deny how over he was. And his presentation was awesome, and the music and how intense he was. But me, trying to be the smartass that I was, I'm like, oh, he's not good in the ring, he's not capable or whatever. But WCW really, at the end of the day, did a really good job of hiding that and concealing that as best as they could. There was a couple times there where he was exposed, but for the most part, his matches were short and straight and to the point and very intense, and he executed the spear and the jackhammer very well. Those were two moves that he did very well and looked good when he did them. And he even had a good match. He would pull a good match out of his ass every now and then. The one he had with DDP when the pay-per-view shut off, that one was great. And Goldberg, he just had some bad luck here or there. That stupid injury. When the dumbass tried to break in the limo window and he cut his arm all up and fucked up his tendons and shit and had to be out for like a year. That really halted his momentum. And then he didn't even come into the WWE until like 2003, 2 years after the buyout. So he lost a lot of steam in that time. And he wasn't really the same Goldberg that you remember in 1998. So when he came into the WWE for that 1 year, it was a mess. When everybody thought he should have won the title, he didn't. And then when he did win it, it was like too late, kind of thing. And then he ended up losing it back, or Triple H won it back shortly thereafter. And then he had the debacle with Brock at WrestleMania 20, and he was done. And it was just an ugly situation, and it wasn't good. So for him to come back and then kind of come full circle like this and do everything for his family, it was getting annoying when he was here last year. During his promos, he wouldn't shut the fuck up about his son, so I get it. That was a little bit old, hearing him say that the whole time. But when you watch the special and you see how important it was to him and how happy he is now because he was a different person back in the day, he would get in backstage fights, the legendary story of him and Chris Jericho, of course. And, this time he was a completely different person. He was humble. They showed footage of him talking backstage with Vince McMahon and Triple H. Him and Triple H used to hate each other. I remember they had a confrontation at, like a big wrestling convention during the Monday Night Wars when WCW was still around. Triple H had a booth, or WW had a booth, and WCW had a booth, and they were both there. And they had some sort of a confrontation. It got pretty ugly. So to see them very friendly now, hugging and kissing each other, and Triple H going over Brock's entrance with him and stuff. It was just kind of, it was nice, you want to see as many happy endings as possible in wrestling, I think, no, Goldberg, Goldberg, it was not cringe. Oh, Goldberg 2017 was cringe. No, Goldberg 2017 could have been a lot worse. You have to admit that. I was worried prior to Goldberg coming back when he was announced in the video game And then they announced the match with Brock. I'm like, this guy's 50 years old. You know, what's he going to be able to do? And plus, Brock is so crazy strong. I don't know how good this match and this program is going to be, but I think it was as good as it could have possibly been. I don't think it could have been any better, considering one of the participants is a 50-year-old guy that hasn't wrestled in 13 years or 12 years or whatever it was. So I think the feud was awesome, and I thought the match at Survivor Series was a great, surprising finish. We see plenty of pay-per-views a year. We see lots of long matches. It's not a big deal to give you one-minute match. It's not going to kill anybody. It's not like it's going to be the last pay-per-view main event you're going to see for a year. You're going to see one in 3 fucking weeks. So I was a defender of that finish. I thought it was good, shocking, and it served its purpose. You don't want to keep Goldberg in there too long because his problem in WCW was that when he got exposed, he looked terrible. So you're certainly not going to do this to him now. That was the probably correct way to book that. It was a tough pill to swallow to watch him beat Kevin Owens in 20 seconds, but you knew that was going to happen too, and it led to a good match to where Brock and Goldberg did redeem themselves from WrestleMania 20. They put on a great WrestleMania match. The WWE 24 show chronicled all this stuff, and it was good. I was just happy to see any happy ending that we can see in wrestling. I'm a fan of. I don't want to see guys going the rest of their lives being bitter. We see enough wrestlers die, and we see enough tragedies. Anytime, guys like Goldberg, guys like Shawn Michaels, who could have had a similar path with Goldberg. He was under real bad terms with WWE too, and he could have never came back, had things been different for Shawn. So, seeing stories like that brings a smile to the face of an older wrestling fan like myself. So I was happy with the 24 special, and I thought it was a great show. And I don't know what, it came out on November 13th. What took me a month to watch it? Fuck. Oh, Grizzly 2, you have returned. So are you really a supporter on Patreon? The minute you say anything stupid, you're gone. So tread carefully, you crazy bastard. Yeah, the Kurt Angle 24 was great. I like that one too. AJ Styles is the greatest of all time. 46-59 rock intensity. I kind of agree. He's the greatest of all time right now. I mean, of all of the guys on the WWE roster, Raw and SmackDown, he's the guy that I think I trust the most in the ring to put on a great match. And there's a lot of great talent in WWE, so he's on the top of my list. Craig 90, Wrestling Deaths, reminds you of the porn industry deaths. They're very similar. Yeah, they kind of are. A lot of substance abuse in both. I talked about that last week when I was talking about Mia Khalifa. And when I was trying to look up the story of her and who she was, I came across the story of the other porn star, forget her name now, that committed suicide like 2 weeks ago. So it's a mess. Yeah, the one thing I will say about the 24 special on Goldberg is that he worked awfully hard for a very, very short amount of wrestling. And, I mean, he was working out like crazy. All the footage of him just lifting weights. And, I mean, for a guy that's 49 years old, he looks incredible. I mean, I can't think of too many guys that look almost the same way he did in 2003. I mean, there's some slight differences there between 03 Goldberg and 2017 Goldberg or 2016 Goldberg, but not much. I mean, he looked incredible for his age. But that whole thing, they were riding a thin line there, because what if they started that whole program? What if, Goldberg and Brock did what they did at Survivor Series, and then Goldberg gets injured, So they didn't want to do too much with him in between then and WrestleMania. He had a few, physical confrontations on Raw. He was in the Royal Rumble for a little bit, and his match with Kevin Owens was very short. But if he would have gotten injured right before WrestleMania, it would have killed all of it. So I think they were saving the good stuff for WrestleMania, and they did. Even though the match was 10 minutes long, it was a good match. As good as it could have been for a guy like Brock Lesnar facing a guy like Bill Goldberg at his age who hasn't wrestled in that amount of time. And how about his kid? I'm almost thinking that Goldberg's son might get into wrestling. They showed some clip on the 24 special where Goldberg was playing around with his kid around the Raw set when he was there one of his first weeks, and he was going through some kind of some fighting punches and shit with his son, and his son had some moves on him. So wouldn't be surprised if Goldberg's teaching this kid how to fight, and if he gets into the wrestling or MMA game when he gets older. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Excuse me. Took a sip of beer and laughed at a comment at the same time. That was bad. That almost came out of my nose. That would have been a show. Man, it's real early to ask that yet. WFSO, who do I think will win the 2019 Money in the Bank? 2019? Oh, I thought it said 2018. Fuck, 2019. I have no idea, man. I thought 2018 was looking way ahead. You're talking 2 years from now. Who knows, man? Could be anybody. Sammy would be a fun briefcase holder. Wouldn't mind seeing Sami Zayn get a hold of it. A guy like Sami Zayn, with everything that they've done with him, the only way he can really get to that level is to win the briefcase, unless he just wins a random #1 contenders match somewhere. You know, otherwise, if you want to put the belt on him, the briefcase might be the way to do it, especially if he stays heel. I'm just peeking over to Twitter right now. Oh, wow. Ha! A lot of you guys liked and retweeted my tweet about Corey Graves on the pay-per-view. That line he had when Rusev and Aiden English were making their entrance into the ring, or they were doing the song or whatever it was. And Corey Graves is just marking out for Rusev Day. And Byron is like, what's the big deal? And Graves goes, Byron, when's your birthday? And he goes, August 20th. And he goes, canceled, Rusev Day. Fucking hilarious line. I got a huge kick out of that. I guess you guys did too. Danny Loria on Twitter, happy holidays to you and your family, and wishing you a safe and happy, healthy 2018 with more success for the channel. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Same to you. Happy holidays to you. And God, we're coming up on 2018. Jesus. I started doing this in 2010. This is getting insane. Motherfucker. The years are just flying by. How is it 2018? I swear to God, 1995 feels like 3 years ago to me. So you young kids, enjoy your memories while you got them. Enjoy the years taking a long time to conclude, because it doesn't get like that when you're older. You know, 3 months pass and you're already on a different year. That's the way it feels. I think like a year back when I was, 20 is the equivalent to like 4 years now. Like that's how much time feels like passed back then. I can remember so many different things that I did in like 1996, but I can't remember anything I did in 2013. So it's crazy. Memories are a funny thing. Goldberg's son for Money in the Bank. Yeah, why not? Flaw 63, 1995, you were a sophomore in high school? Yeah, I had recently graduated by that point. I heard, here's something to make you feel good, Flaw. I might have said this before, but I recently saw just a random like tweet or statistic that if that 70s show, if the equivalent of a show to that 70s show were to be released today, here in modern day times, it would have to be set in the year 1995. Think about that. Remember that 70s show back in the 90s, how popular that was? And back then, the 70s seemed like eons ago. But if that same type of show were to be released today, it would have to be that 90s show. And that's pretty fucking amazing. Boy, we're getting old. We're all getting old. Oh, what's up, Daniel? You're in here too. I just read your tweet a second ago. Okay. Man Ray, what are your thoughts on the term vanilla/indie midget? Totally overused. And the people that want to think that they sound the smartest are the ones that say that shit the most. I have never once in my entire life referred to a wrestler as a vanilla midget. Ever. It's a stupid it's a stupid description for somebody. Because wrestlers now, I guess the point of that comment, I guess, is because, on the indie level, you have a lot of smaller people. Back in the day, the territory days, it was still a big man's territory. You might have had some smaller guys here or there, but for example, like Greg Gagne and Jim Brunzell in the AWA in the 80s, they were the high flyers. Those guys are both over 200 pounds. Now you got the cruiserweight division where 205 is the limit. You can't even go higher than that. So most of these guys are now 160 to 200 pounds, and it's just a different you know, it's a different era now. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, because the days of everybody being the size of Jim Duggan or Ted DiBiase or wrestlers like that, that's, you know, you got to evolve the business. And there's nothing wrong with having some smaller guys in there. Everybody has the right to pursue this type of, you know, this type of entertainment. And you have the weight classes and stuff, you know, and the little guys now sometimes fight the big guys. And I understand all of that. But, you know, just to call them a vanilla midget because they're 180 pounds, the WWE roster is loaded with a bunch of vanilla midgets, you know, in the cruiserweight division. So, you know, I don't know what the term is, you know, I don't know what it's for. I don't know who it's criticizing. I guess it's meant to be a critique of guys that are over on the indie level or something. But, you know, a lot of those guys that were over on the indie level reached great heights in the WWE. You could argue that the man that won the main event of WrestleMania 30 was a vanilla midget. Could you not? So I think it's a stupid term, because anybody can get over. You just got to connect. It's all about timing. It's all about what you can do. And sometimes people stumble ass backwards into it. You know, The Rock could have just as easily been a failure. So could Stone Cold, had they taken different paths. You know, but right time, right place, you know, sometimes everything falls into place. So... Oh, always look cool. You're Dustin Eaton? I didn't know that. Thanks again. I just put your logo up on the screen, and I might have to put it up in a minute because I think I got to go take a piss. Although, I'm almost done with this beer. I can just do it right here. All right, I'm going for it. Ready? No, I'm kidding. Jesus. It just pop right up in front of me. I'd be like, oh my God, get back down. Jesus. Easy, easy, big fella. Remember The Rock? Easy, big fella. I loved it when The Rock said that. I fucking marked out every time he said easy, big fella. Strudel, man. Yeah, vanilla midget means bland and generic, right. But that's not always the case. Sometimes guys who are bland and generic turn out not to be once they're put in the right environment or whatever. So I think it's a stupid comment because you're judging too soon. You can't even say really that Finn Balor is a vanilla midget. You know, that demon character, what the fuck is generic about that? Christ, have we ever seen anything anywhere close to that? Granted, he's not that all the time. You know, other than that, he's regular Finn Balor that goes out there and just has decent matches. But doesn't that remind you of somebody like Chris Benoit? Was Chris Benoit a vanilla midget as well? Maybe he was. You know, he was kind of short. He didn't have the charisma of a Chris Jericho, but he had the in-ring ability of a Dynamite Kid. So, you know, I guess it's just, you know, it's your own personal preference. You know, some guys just want in-ring wrestling and some guys want the whole package, you know, but I see the problem I have with the term vanilla midget is that it's used by people that claim to only care about in-ring wrestling. Oh, WWE is shit. The best wrestling going on right now is in New Japan, and Ring of Honor has good, credible wrestling, you know, and all that other dumb shit doesn't matter. I'm like, well, then if it doesn't matter, then it shouldn't matter if they're generic, because if they can wrestle in the ring, what the fuck do you care about their characters? So, you know, to me, it's just, it contradicts itself. I don't know. What are you guys? Don't argue with each other. What am I saying? I'm on fucking YouTube telling people in the comments not to argue with each other. Am I fucking insane? This is YouTube. Have I met YouTube? How long have we been going here and how many people are watching? All right, we're an hour and 30 minutes in. I'll go a little bit. I'll go at least 2 hours here. I'm going to go over to the YouTube channel and see how many people are watching us. Still over 200. I bet you that's going to drop below 200 once I go take a piss here. We've got 78 likes. We have 12 dislikes. What's wrong with you 12 monkeys? What the fuck? What did I do to you? Other than give you an awesome live stream. And my audio sounds all right, right? Yeah, audio sounds fine. All right, good. So, do you guys mind if I go use the bathroom real quick, get a new beer? I'm going to be back in like 20 seconds, don't worry. And I got to use this stupid fire stick again, which I hate. Now's your time to put in requests. I do have some stuff in the fridge for you. If you don't like beer, I've got a bunch of Gatorade. And for the hell of it, I bought a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, because I fried up some French fries last night for a late-night snack, and I wanted some Coke. So I got some of that, too. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I am returning. I hope you guys didn't leave. I'm not done talking yet. All right, where were we? Everybody still here? Everybody happy? Everybody sober? Close enough. What are we going to talk about next? Oh, good. You guys are informing me of some of your bathroom habits right now. Ed Sturmer is taking a dump right now. Let's all wish Ed luck. Hope everything comes out all right. Well, this is fun. I'm in my 40s doing a live stream talking about professional wrestling and reading comments that say, I want to eat poop. That's my life. I didn't miss much here. That's good. What did you guys do while I was gone? Did you guys, like, talk? What'd you talk about? Did you fight? Were you bad boys? Who's a good boy? The people in the comments? Yeah. Joshua Ray, what's next for Jinder Mahal? I talked about that earlier. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with him now. Sorry, I got to get myself off the screen over here because I'm seeing myself and it's creeping me out. I don't know what they're going to do with Jinder. I don't know if he's going to take a step down the card or if he's going to stay in the world title picture, maybe get one more shot somewhere, hopefully to lose. I hope it's over with him and AJ. I think AJ having a new opponent at the Royal Rumble is the right way to go and will be fun. No need to further out the AJ Styles and Jinder stuff anymore. Wiza, what up? Shit, you didn't know you were 2 minutes behind? How you doing, brother? Did you have a live stream tonight? Everyone say hi to Wiza. You got a great channel. Yeah, Wiza, you picked a good night to be in here. There's a whole bunch of weirdos in the chat tonight, but whatevs. All right, Breezy, 600. Warning number 1. One more of those and I will block you. I must block you. I'll do it. Oh, God. All right, let's go over here to Twitter. I know I'm being boring. I'm just sitting here staring into space because you guys aren't asking me any fucking questions. You're just being idiots. Dustin Eaton on Twitter. I think you're telling me it's your birthday. Happy birthday to Dustin. He's the one that made that that logo that I just put up on the screen a minute ago. I think that's what you're telling me on Twitter. Anyway, happy birthday, man. You got one of those December birthdays. I have 2 different friends that are born on Christmas Day, and they hate it because they're like, "This is bullshit." You know, we want a day just to ourselves. My favorite food is my girlfriend. That's fucking funny. Jinder underrated? No, I don't think he's underrated. I definitely don't think he's underrated. I just think he's you know, he has the same type of problem that Roman Reigns has. Is he's a guy that WWE wants to push, and fans naturally reject that. You know, they want to make the decisions, and they really should at the end of the day. It's only natural. It's only the way wrestling has always been done. It's only recently, you know, in the John Cena era, where it feels like the fans don't get a say anymore, or at least in some cases. And Jinder was one of those guys that the fans, you know, he's not like Cesaro, you know. It would be one thing if they thrust a Jinder Mahal type of gimmick on Cesaro, because at least he's a guy that has been having great matches for years, that the fans fucking love and want to see push and want to give opportunities, you know, and want to get opportunities. And who do they give it to? A guy like Jinder, who granted nobody really hates, but you're like, fuck, of all the guys, of all the people on the mid-card that you're going to elevate, you're going to pick him over so many other people. I understand. It's just fucked. Jinder was doomed from the start, man. So WWE tried, and I'm glad that they at least for right now, have backed off of it because, you know, he, that's really funny. Sorry, I'm reading some of these comments are cracking me up. Sometimes I get distracted. But yeah, he's just not gonna. He's not gonna amount to anything when the WWE, you know, kind of gets that idea in their head. They're hell bent on pushing him. Was basically my point. So, you know, he wasn't really underrated. I don't think he was bad character really on the mic and stuff. He had some good points to him and stuff, but he wasn't a guy that the fans really wanted to see succeed. He was somebody that nobody really cared about at all. So it's just, that's why I found it so odd that if WWE's trying to make some new guy, oh, we need another main event guy, we need another world champion, a guy to compete on that level. Why him? You know? Oh, man. No, I don't know, Velvet Kelly Kitty, if Natalya is retired. I don't think she is. She's a veteran, but I don't think she's like near retirement age by any means. So this is probably just some stupid storyline that will not go very far. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be willing to bet that this Tuesday or the week after at the most, this thing will have already run its course. Natty will be back in the ring, and like her promo on Clash of Champions never happened. W. Turner, I have glimpsed at the Young Bucks YouTube channel. Yes, I have. Not much of it, though. Yeah, Natalya, she was cringe tonight, that's for sure. Oh, my God. Total Divas. Wiza. I don't watch Total Divas. I've never seen... The only Total Divas I've ever seen are the commercials. Like, that's an honest-to-God truth. I don't watch it for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because it sucks and it doesn't appeal to me. But you would think as a wrestling fan, I would at least take a look at it. I don't. I think it would ruin Daniel Bryan for me. I just don't want to watch it. Never have watched it. Adam, no, I have not seen Star Wars. I am not a Star Wars fan. I'm not, never seen the movies. I've seen the originals when I was a kid, but not much of them. I know my father took me to see Star Wars, the original Star Wars, in the theater. Gives you an idea how fucking old I am. And then I remember seeing bits of, and a lot of bits and pieces of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in the 80s as a kid, but never was invested in the characters. And then when they did the prequels in the 90s, never saw those, never saw this most recent batch. And, oh, I got you, Wiza. Yeah, and I'm not really much of a Star Wars guy at all. I don't dislike Star Wars, really. I really don't like Star Trek. But Star Wars, I could probably watch because I do know some of the characters. I know R2-D2 and Luke Skywalker and Vader and guys like... I mean, I know the characters. But Star Trek, I'm completely clueless to. And I don't really like it all. But Star Wars, if I got into it, maybe I could get into it. So I'm not shitting on Star Wars. But Wiza, you were saying that that Natty's retirement segment was probably just for Total Divas. That makes a lot of sense. Because I don't know much about Total Divas, but yeah, they show a lot of that stuff on there, so that's probably all it was for, which, you know, to my point is that they're probably just going to be done with it, you know, by next week anyway. So it was just it felt out of place, it felt weird. I didn't know the point of Natalya freaking out like that, and I thought it was odd, and I guess that explains a lot, that it's going to be on the E! Network. Luke dies. Oh, don't spoil. What are you talking about, Luke dies? Is that like the new one? The one that's out right now in the theaters? Are you guys spoiling it for people? Don't do that. Is Luke Sky? I don't see. That's the thing. I don't know anything about Star Wars. I mean, I thought some of these episodes went in reverse. I didn't even know Luke Skywalker was even in this newest one. But he dies? Yoda died? Yoda, I think I knew died. But anyway, if any of you guys are fucking spoiling Star Wars for people, that's gonna suck. I think that's rude. I try not to spoil pay-per-views anymore. I would always get shit from people when I would do a pay-per-view review. You know, the normal way I would do it. And if I put like the winner in the thumbnail, people be freaking out. Like, what are you doing, man? I didn't see the show yet. And I'm like, well, the show's over. I didn't know I wasn't allowed to put a fucking thumbnail up. But now I kind of get it. People overseas, they don't see it until the next day. But my advice is to stay off of fucking social media or YouTube if you have not seen the pay-per-view, because you are going to get spoiled. It's impossible not to. So I just try not to be the one to do it anymore. Let somebody else do it. So now I try to put nondescript type of thumbnails up. What do I have on this one? I have Shane and Daniel Bryan, right? Yeah, I made that during the main event because I couldn't watch the main event. So I'm like, well, I might as well make my thumbnail because my fucking network connection sucks. My WWE network connection, that is. My internet's fabulous. At least it says it is on the stream. Stream status good. We're still in good shape. Jinder versus Luke Skywalker. That would be interesting. God. Some of you are pushing your luck. Breezy, 600. Honest question. I want to know how old you are. Don't type anything else except for the 2 digits in your age. I honestly want to know. And be honest. Don't be a fucking liar. Fireboy123, I want to know how old you are too. Adam, are you excited about Vince potentially leaving to restart the XFL? I talked about the XFL stuff a little bit earlier on, and I did mention that Vince's attention could be diverted. And it kind of dawned on me as I was saying it. I was just talking about the situation, and at first I was skeptical. I'm like, WWE doesn't want to spread itself too thin, because if you take focus off wrestling, then wrestling could suffer. But the way things are now, and everything's so over-the-top micromanaged, taking some focus off of wrestling actually might be a good thing. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, taking the focus off of wrestling wasn't good with the XFL. But now, Vince McMahon, if his attention is diverted somewhere else, he can be less of a psycho behind the scenes and wreaking havoc in WWE, and it might actually be a good thing in the long run. But you can rewind a little bit, and I don't know where it is, how far in we talked about that, but more of my comments are in there. Breezy, you're 27. Oh, good. You're going to go far at that age with a mouth like that. Like, what are you going to do for a job? Like, do you talk like that to your boss? Oh, Fireboy, you're 1. You're older than I thought. You're older than I thought. Man, the post pay-per-view streams are filled with interesting stuff in the chat. Let's go over to Twitter, since you guys are dumb. Andrew Pike on Twitter. What do I think of John Cena's future? How many more matches do I think he has left in him? I think he has a lot of matches left in him. The Undertaker wrestled until he was 50 years old, and he was 7 feet tall. So I think John Cena is never going to, like, retire as long as he's physically able. I mean, what's John Cena now? 40? Maybe? 39? 41? How the fuck old is he? So I think John Cena can easily go 5 to 10 years. I do. And not full-time or anything, but John Cena is already kind of that part-time in-and-out guy. He can do that forever. You know, The Rock's who I'm worried about. The Rock, if we're going to count matches here, I want to know how many more matches The Rock has, if any. If any. If they're ever going to do a fucking match with The Rock, doesn't it have to be like right now? Doesn't it have to be yesterday? He's 45 years old. I mean, Goldberg is doing it at 49. I'm not saying The Rock can't. But, you know, yeah, Cena's 40. Thank you. So Cena can easily go to 45. Cena can go to 46. Cena can go to 49. Cena can go to 50. I mean, look what Hogan did. You know, Hogan, how old was Hogan when he worked with Randy Orton in 2000, whatever year? 5? No, 6. Worked with Shawn in 05, Orton in 06. I mean, how old was Hogan then? And Hogan sucked in the ring. Cena can have good matches. So I think Cena is going to be that legend, that guy that comes back. I think at times in the next 10 years, he'll take a complete year off. He'll be gone a full year, and he'll come back for Mania. He'll wrestle a Triple H type of schedule. I mean, look at Triple H. How old is Triple H? Triple H is older than Cena. So Cena will at least wrestle until as old as Triple H is, and probably longer than that. The only thing that's going to put Cena on the shelf permanently is an injury. I think after that, it's going to take, he'll probably retire at 50 years old, you know, and he'll come back in as long as he can. He'll come back in and he'll work matches with guys, you know, guys that make it to, you know, top of the card levels in the future. Cena will come in from time to time and work with some of those guys, create the dream match for the fans. I think that's the role that Cena's going to have. Yeah, Hogan was around 53 years old when he's working with Orton. So, you know, Cena's not going anywhere. The thing about Cena is that we're just not going to see him as much. We already don't. He's already pretty much the Cena that we knew and hated you know, when he was pushed to death and on TV every week and in 3 segments every Monday Night Raw. Those days are over. You guys should be happy about that. Now we're going to get Cena in doses, which is much easier to tolerate. You know, wouldn't you agree? I don't know if Triple H is 50. I don't think he is yet. Birdman, what's up? You guys are saying Triple H is 48? Fucking Christ, he is? I thought Triple H was more like 46, 45. Wow, 48. Yeah, see, Triple H, that's the thing. A 48-year-old Triple H is supposed to be a believable threat to Braun Strowman if they did that match at WrestleMania. I would like to see Triple H not have that match if possible. Hogan is not 72. He's not Vince's age. Close, though. Jesus Christ. Man, oh man. Funny chats. Back to Twitter. You guys, if you guys want to shoot over to Twitter, because apparently all the adults hang out on Twitter, you can go over there and shoot me a question if you would like. Flat Earth. At Earth is flat, bruh. Thoughts on them putting the strap on Ziggler? Also, do you think you could have a good rivalry with Shinsuke, Rusev, Benoit, or AJ? So 3 SmackDown guys and a dead guy. Well, Ziggler's worked with all of them. Ziggler's worked with Rusev, I know, I'm sure, in the past, and I know he's worked with Shinsuke, obviously, and AJ. A match with him and Benoit would be fun, but Benoit would rip his head off in that crippler crossface. We know that. But, you know, like a significant rivalry, a title match rivalry, you know, maybe Shinsuke. I don't know. Maybe they rekindle their rivalry and Shinsuke takes the belt off of him. I have no fucking idea. What is the first thing I would change if I was in charge of what? WWE? The first thing. That's tough. The first thing that I would do. I would probably fire Kevin Dunn. That's a popular answer, right? I think everybody will give me the thumbs up on that. Not a generic name, I agree. I was kind of baffled by that question. Sometimes I start reading the question before I read the question, and then it's just worded funny. Oh, Jesus. Does Triple H need a WrestleMania match? If so, he have more of a storyline on Raw or on TV to have it mean more. Sorry, I'm having trouble comprehending that one too. Triple H doesn't need a WrestleMania match necessarily. His WrestleMania matches in recent memory have not been off the charts. I think the last one that I really remember being great would be the one he had with Taker in the Cell. After that, you know, the Roman Reigns match was ass. Seth Rollins match was okay. Who else has he worked with? The Sheamus match was forgettable. The Randy Orton debacle at WrestleMania 25 sucked because they followed Shawn and Taker. Was that the Mania that they followed Shawn and Taker? I think it was. That's why that match sucked so bad. Who Triple H work with? What WrestleMania are we on? Fuck. Who did he work with at 31? Did he work at 30? Oh, Sting. That match wasn't even that good. It was, I like the NWO and DX stuff, but, you know, the match itself, just sort of. WrestleMania 30, he worked with Daniel Bryan and that whole deal. Of course, we love that. 29 with Brock, sucked. And then 28 was the one with Taker, and that was very good. So, yeah, Triple H doesn't necessarily need to be at WrestleMania, but, you know, you can't deny who Triple H is. He's been around there for a long time. He's a big character. I think he's, much like Cena, will have a WrestleMania match as long as he's healthy enough to. I just think the idea of him and Strowman is a really bad idea. Put him in there with somebody else. I can't purge all the trolls because I'm reading these comments along with a whole bunch of other stuff, and so sometimes I'm not even noticing somebody's being a troll because I'm not reading everything, so sorry. I'm also checking out my stream stats and settings and all that, making sure we're all good, because last week really paranoid me, and I want to make sure that we are all good. Oh gosh. Cena versus Orton versus Triple H. I don't want to see that. Not in 2018, that's for sure. Any Twitter people? Oh, yeah, we got some Twitter. Oh, yeah, we got some Twitter people. All right, so I guess when I said go over to Twitter, some of you did. How old was Ric Flair in 2008 against HBK? I want to say late 50s during that. I don't remember how old he was. You guys will tell me, because you guys are awesome. If I need an age, you'll tell me. Wrestling Warrior at Wrestle Warrior 2. Which match would you say is the bigger international dream match? Great Muta versus Undertaker or Tanahashi versus John Cena? Those are two really good examples. I'd go modern Tanahashi, John Cena. Muta and Taker would have been fun, though. But we never got Sting and Taker, so I can't think about Muta and Taker until I think about Sting and Taker. To me, Sting and Taker would be the number one. Muta would just be like, you know, a bonus kind of thing. So yeah, I guess I'd go Tanahashi, Cena. Real Mad Freak on Twitter. Do I think Lars in NXT could become a major player in WWE with his unique look? Yes. What is his name again? Lars Sullivan, is that right? I like his look. His look is weird. It reminds me of somebody. It reminds me of a combination of... The thing is, Gorilla Monsoon, back in his younger days, used to have a beard like that went down like this. And then I also think of... he resembles Grizzly Smith a little bit, too. And a little bit of Grizzly, a little bit of Gorilla Monsoon, and like... There's one other guy that he reminds me of so much, and I'm trying to think of who he is. It's almost like a modern guy. And he's just like a few guys that I remember all rolled into one. He's got a very old school look, and he looks a lot older than he is. I can only assume since he's in NXT. He can't be that old. Flair was 58 or 59 during that match with Shawn, by the way, at WrestleMania. Thank you for that. But Lars looks like... He looks like he's 50 years old, but I would assume that he's probably late 20s, early 30s. Oh, I'm reading some comments here. Is it really that bad in the chat right now? I mean, I'm seeing stupid comments, don't get me wrong, but I'm not paying too much attention. Is it really that bad? It doesn't look that bad. I know everybody's dumb in here, but... Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to just start blocking people like crazy. I don't want to be doing that. Dustin, I think that's who I'm thinking of. Lars Sullivan reminds you of Snitsky. That might be the other guy I'm thinking of. You know, with the other two that I was thinking of. I'm like, he's just a combination of like three guys that I can't quite put my finger on it. But he definitely has a unique look, and I think he's a strong badass. And you know, when he comes to the main roster, whatever they do with him, I guess it's going to be a Rusev type of gimmick to where he's going to be this powerhouse badass. But he'll be a guy like that. You know, he's going to be getting title matches. You know, wherever he lands, if he's on Raw, he'll be working with Roman, and I think if he's on SmackDown, he'll be working with whoever the champ is there. You know, a guy like that just isn't an early card guy. He's going to be main event or nothing. All right. I'm pausing too long, sorry. Oh, good. More Twitter stuff. Lots of Twitter stuff. Here we go. A straight baller at Swole_Infinite. Who do you think is most likely to show up in the Royal Rumble match? Batista, Rey Mysterio, or Kenny Omega? All three are possible. They really are. I think Kenny... I mean, Jericho's working with him. Who's to say he can't come over and work with Jericho here? But... Rey Mysterio is another one that's very likely. That would be a good place for him to come back. That would be fun. And Batista. The thing about Batista is that whole story about him wanting to come back is Rumble, where you would bring a guy like Batista back. You know, I think Mysterio or Omega would make more sense for the Rumble. Batista, they might want to promote. The Batista return, they might want to put on Raw, like they did before, back in 2014. They might want to be. They might want to do something like that. What else we got? Shit, sorry. Lucas Dawson, I mentioned in my last commentary my thoughts on Sheamus and the potential injury that he has. Check out episode 472 for that. I'm wishing him the best, though. he had a pretty good match with Seth Rollins on Raw, and he bumped around the ring hard during that match. So he's working through it for right now. But if you want to hear my more detailed opinions on that, check out the last episode. Oh, that's an elaborate question, Flat Earth. The current state of WWE. That's a whole nother commentary. Can't do that. All right, back to the chat. Okay, wow. How long have we been going here? For 2 hours. All right, I should probably wrap it up soon. I've been going about 2 hours and 5 minutes. So let's spend like another 15 minutes or so here. I'm getting sick of some of these comments. You guys are not asking anything of substance here. This is probably the worst. Like, I've done, I think, 8 live streams. This is probably the dumbest live chat that I've seen, as far as all of you being dumb. Most of you being dumb, I should say. Not all of you. Some of you are cool. Do I think it's a good idea, Yellow 8934-1, do I think it's a good idea to have to troll the Philadelphia crowd by having Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble next year? No, it's not a good idea. Jesus. Somebody could die. Somebody could die. That shit in 2015 was so bad. That would be WWE just being dicks for the sake of being dicks. That would be like, they get to the arena that day, and during the production meeting, Vince McMahon says, "What would a dick do today?" And they'd say, "Roman Reigns would win." He goes, "Let's do it. Book it. Have Roman Reigns enter #1 and eliminate 29 men and win the Royal Rumble. Do it. Book it. Goddamn, pal." What time is it in Japan? Don't know. Don't know. I would guess it's afternoon? Maybe? I would guess it's... I don't know why I'm trying to guess this. I would guess it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now. It's 10 p.m. here in San Diego. This is where it's going, folks. We're talking about what time it is in fucking Japan. Brendan Ryan, who is my favorite NFL team? I am born in Detroit, so I have always been loyal to the Detroit teams. I have I moved away from Detroit at a very young age, but I'm loyal as hell to the Pistons, to the Red Wings, to the Lions and the Tigers, and always will be. It makes things easy. I don't have to worry about jumping on bandwagons and shit. I was born in Detroit. I support those teams. End of story. Hogan coming back? Yeah, I can see that. I think Hogan might be on his way back in at some point. You can't keep Hogan away forever. You know, when did that happen? The funny thing is, I always refer to my commentaries to when I'm trying to figure out what date shit happened. But Hogan getting fired, when was that? Was that 2015? So we're going on like 2 years now, I think. Might have been 2016. Pretty sure it was 2015. But I don't know. But it's been a while now. It's like shit's blown over, you know. I don't know how Hogan keeps surviving. I mean, there's a lot of people who have a negative opinion of Hulk Hogan. But despite everything that he's done and said, it's amazing how people are still sticking with him, you know? Hogan didn't even get any hate, really, from the African-American community for what he said. I mean, most people were like, they kind of forgave him kind of thing, and it blew my mind. I mean, some people were pissed at him, don't get me wrong. I criticized the shit out of the guy in my commentary, but it was amazing that people were like, you know, he didn't know he was being recorded. He said stupid shit. He's sorry for it. You know, we can move on. No reason to, you know, harp over this or, you know, create any more hate or anything like that. And I mean, I just couldn't believe like how people were, you know, kind of like okay with it. Not okay with it, but willing to give the guy a second chance. Given enough time, let things blow over, and people can kind of put it behind him and allow Hulk Hogan back into the fold. And I think eventually WWE will bring him back in. That's what I'm talking about right there. Breezy, goodbye. None of that. Sick of this shit. Detroit sucked your dick? The entire city sucked your dick? How was that? Yeah, Detroit's a mess. That's beside the point. All I said was I was born in Detroit and I'm loyal to those teams. You know, now it's all Detroit. Jesus Christ, why are you guys shitting on Detroit? Detroit's had its problems, but that's not the point of the comment. Hell, I'd never move back there. I live in the greatest city in the United States of America, San Diego. It does not get better than this. Perfect weather, 365. Well, 350. We do get a few rainy days, but they are very, very far between. Yeah, I draw the line of wishing people death and, oh, you should get cancer. You know, I mean, I know everybody's immature idiots 90% of the time, but when you take it to that level, goodbye, you're gone. The Paw, Detroit has some good-ass pizza, though. Does it really? I'm trying to remember the local pizzerias around where I lived. I was born in Pontiac, which is a, you know, that is a toilet. That's where the Silverdome was. They just imploded that. I was born in the same city that WrestleMania 3 was in, Pontiac General Hospital. But I lived in Rochester Hills for a little while. I lived in Sterling Heights, around suburbs of Detroit. And I don't remember any really out-of-this-world like pizza. Although I'm not a big pizza fan anyway. I've mentioned that in previous commentaries. But Little Caesars was a big deal. That's what they named the arena after. My parents used to bring home Little Caesars pizza all the fucking time when I was a kid for dinner. And I would make my mom bring me a cheeseburger because I hated pizza. Brian Spencer, was I a fan of John Morrison? Yeah, Morrison was awesome. He's another guy that I'm happy left WWE. He's better off, man. You know, he's doing his thing as Johnny Mundo and all that shit he's done in Lucha Underground and stuff. You know, he's made a good career for himself, and he's probably a lot happier doing what he's doing than if he would have stayed in WWE. No, Joshua, I do not know who that is. Ha! I did not know that was an... That's really funny. I had no idea that the stream gave you an option to put somebody in timeout. Ooh, there's an ad moderator? This is the first... See, I never explored this. Add moderator. Oh, shit. I just made somebody a moderator. Brian Spencer, you were for 1 minute, or for 10 seconds, you were a moderator. That would be, okay. See, I'm learning as I go, right? This is my 8th stream. I'm just fucking learning that you can put people in timeout and add moderators. Fucking great. All right, so maybe next time around I'll actually assign a moderator, but we just got to set some ground rules. You just can't be blocking people all the time. They gotta step over a certain line. Once they do that, block them. But that fucking timeout shit is hilarious. See, even YouTube knows it's dealing with children. It actually has to add a fucking option to put somebody in timeout. That's marvelous. That is fucking marvelous. Fucking marvelous. You know what? You're going to go in timeout too. This is great. I don't know how timeout lasts, or how long timeout lasts, but... Oh. No. Flat Earth? That'll get you blocked. Goodbye. Alright, so this is declining quickly here. I'm probably going to sign off. But yeah, I put a couple guys in timeout, and I'm going to warn you right now, you say the N-word or say faggot in any way, shape, or form, you are blocked. I do not care. You will be blocked. So, keep that in mind. How long to bake a chicken? It just depends on how big the chicken is. Are you baking the breasts? Just the chicken titties? Are you baking the whole bird? Whatever. You know, I'd say either way, hour max. If you're doing the whole chicken, you might want to do 2 hours and slow roast it. Might be nice. But make sure you cook it all the way through. Otherwise, you're eating raw chicken, and you might have an incident in the bathroom. Joel Southgate, hello from Sydney, Australia. How are you? Thanks. Now people are requesting to be put on timeout. Do you want to be put in timeout? Maybe I will. Yeah, I know I just said the F word. I say the fucking F word all the time. How long have you been watching? The F word's not offensive. The F word's not derogatory. The F word's just an F word. You can say it for anything. You can say the F word when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're mad. I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking happy. I'm fucking angry. Oh, shit. Bub's coming. Well, I'm about to sign off, buddy. Yeah, I am. He's like, I gotta make an appearance in the live stream before you... Oh, hi, buddy. See, here he is. On cue. You want to wave to the masses? Here, buddy. I gotta see if I can see you first. Here. There, he's back. Hi, guys. I come and say hi every time he does a live stream. That's his voice, by the way. Alright, sit still, buddy. Let me finish this shit up, and then I'll feed you, or whatever you want. Greetings from Kenya. Greetings from New Zealand. Wow, you guys are from everywhere. Wrestling Warrior, any update on those Nintendo streams, Greg? Yes, I'll get to it. I mean, I was really excited about it. I have everything I need. I just got to get it pulled up. And the thing with those streams, though, what I think I'm going to wind up doing with those, I'll try to stream it if I can, but it almost seems like the more I practice with it, it would be easier just for me to make a video of me playing the game, which would serve the same purpose. It just wouldn't be live. I'm just worried about it holding up or something going wrong or whatever, because I'm using the original consoles. I'm not emulating this or anything. So if I'm playing Super Mario 3, I'm playing it on an original NES. And those, you know, sometimes things can happen. It can glitch out or whatever the fuck. And I wouldn't want to be in the middle of a game and then it fucks up. So I think when I finally do the Nintendo games, I'll do them and I'll record them and then I'll upload them later just to make sure everything goes okay. That's probably going to be my plan there. Kron Tito is still asleep over there, and I would rather not wake him up if I could. Oh, stop it. Who would I go gay for? Shut up. Joshua, yeah, you could say that. It's 11:11. Yes, it is. It's 11:11 on the Central Time Zone? Or the Mountain Time Zone here in the U.S., I believe. It's 10:12 here in San Diego, the whale's vagina. Rooster McScratch, have I seen Boogie Nights? Hell yeah, Boogie Nights is an awesome movie. I've seen it. Jesus, you guys are crazy. Well, anyway, on that note, well, shit, it's 2 hours, 17 minutes. Should I go 2.5, or should I wrap this up here? I kind of got to take a piss again, so I don't want to come back for no reason. Actually, let's check the audience. How about that? Why don't we just check the audience? All right, there's 150 people watching right now. Maybe what I'll do, I was going to go 2.5 hours and turn it off, but maybe I'll go take a piss, and we'll talk for just a little bit longer. How about that? You guys cool with that? What should we talk about? What I want to see is you guys... Oh, there's finally, it's here. Alvaro Sanchez, what took you so long to ask me about Batista's dick? What the hell took you so long? But yeah, maybe I'll go use the restroom real quick, and then when I come back, we'll talk for a little bit longer. Actually, I'm trying to find something right now. We'll talk for a little bit longer, because I got to get this cat out of my lap, too. He's driving me crazy. Oh, yeah, and he looks at me right when I say that. So maybe we'll talk for just a few more minutes when I come back, maybe half an hour or so, and we'll get into more shit. I am going to play... How about we play some Bret Hart theme music like I always do? You guys hang out, and I'll be back. And I got to get this cat out of my lap. Come on, buddy. And when I come back, I want to see topics in the comments in the live stream of what I should talk about. I'm back. This is... I hope that fucking Bret Hart music isn't too loud. Bret, shut up. Jesus Christ. Did that Bret Hart music scare you guys away, or are you guys all here? And my 6-pack of Stella is gone. So between Clash of Champions and the live stream, I've drank all my beer. But guess what? I have 2 more Becks left. What if I drink those Becks? Are you guys going to unsubscribe? See what you guys are saying in the comments. No, it's not a shit song. Bret Hart theme song is awesome. In previous live streams when I went to the bathroom, I would play like the Hart Foundation song. I actually like that, like the 90s one. But I was just looking for some quick on-the-fly music, and I'm like, fuck it, Bret Hart music. Next time I'll play NWO or something. Is that even legal? Can I do this on YouTube? Am I going to get fucking copyrighted? Jasper Manuel, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Let's unsubscribe. Yes, I did. Did I wash my hands? Yes, they're totally clean. Yeah, I'm not allowed to drink the Becks, man. No, that's the thing. You guys asking if I wash my hands. Why that is because, and I will revoke my man card if I have to here, I pee so fast. Some of my buddies, like, I hate it. Like, I remember I went to a Charger game with one of my friends, and he's huge. I mean, this guy is, I think he's 6'9" or something. And we both go to piss at the same time. And we're in the bathroom, and I'm, like, done. And I go over to the sink to wash my hands, and I swear to God, 3 minutes go by, and this fucker is still pissing. He could fill up a half-gallon milk jug easily on one piss. Where me, I could probably fill up a beer bottle. So I have a little bladder, I guess, is what I am trying to say here. So normally whenever I go to the bathroom, I'm pretty quick. I piss quick. I'm done in like 20 seconds. I'm done. So, but yes, I always wash my hands. I am a clean freak. My house is always sparkling fucking clean. No, I won't talk about that either. Yes, I will. I'm getting this. Bret Hart's theme's getting a little bit old, but hell, if I'm a mark for anybody, it's him. Oh, Rick Martel, excuse me. Hall of Fame, yeah, he's another guy that absolutely is like so far overdue. Martel is just a great person, you know? Like, why are they not putting Rick Martel in the Hall of Fame? Oh man, the Detroit Bad Boys. I miss those days in the 80s and 90s when they were winning titles, beating the Lakers and the Trailblazers, and they were the Bad Boys, and it was Bad Boys. They would sing that. It was Dennis Rodman and fucking Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer, some assholes. I mean, they had some assholes on their team. Isaiah Thomas was no fucking saint either. The only good guy on the whole team was Joe Dumars, who was an absolute saint. And everybody loved. But everybody else had just a chip on their shoulder, and they were just dirty. Bill Laimbeer was fucking insane. But the Bad Boys days, man, I was a big Bad Boys fan. That old shirt, you know, that would have made a great wrestling shirt. I still have mine that I had in 1989. It was a black T-shirt when the Detroit Pistons were like NBA champions. Black T-shirt with the orange basketball and the skull and the bones. And it said Bad Boys. Fucking beautiful shirt. It reminded me of something that would get over in a professional wrestling environment. Just reading through a little bit of Twitter here, seeing if there's anything new. A lot of retweets, but no new, not too many new questions. Back to the chat. We still here? Everybody still here? Oh, you're telling me? Did you guys see them? Are they behind me here? Let me check on my audience levels here, because when I went to the bathroom, that's usually when I lose people. Oh no, we still got we got 140 of you or so watching. That's pretty good. And I've been going for 2.5 hours, so we'll talk a little longer. Why not? No, we do not want the Divas belt back. Are you crazy? Beetle 911, how was I able to afford going to so many shows during the Attitude Era? Good question. I kind of wasn't. I stretched myself pretty thin back then. The thing was, is WWE came around so often back then that, you know, we would drive. I was younger back then, and my buddy Daniel and I, we would drive like fucking crazy through North Carolina and all over the East Coast. And we had, you know, when you're young like that and in your 20s and shit, you know, you got energy. So I could wake up 8 o'clock in the morning. We could drive to the show, you know, get to the show 2 hours early and watch the wrestlers show up and then go to the hotel or go to the bar and meet them and then go to the show and then drive to the next town and all that shit. And only sometimes when it was really long trips, we would even get hotel rooms. Most of the time we would. But if it was a pay-per-view, we would also go to Raw. We would also go to the Raw taping because back then there was no SmackDown. So we would always go, for the pay-per-views, it was the same thing. We would go to the pay-per-views, we would drive to Raw, then we would drive to the Raw taping. And generally those cities were close enough to where we could make the trip each day. So it got to be a lot of miles on the road, but it was fun. And a lot of times, you know, if we went to Greensboro, then we'd go to Charlotte for the pay-per-view. And most times we would go to Charlotte, spend the night, you know, that night after the show. We would either drive there and then spend the night and then go to the show the next day. Sometimes we would go crazy. I remember there was a time where I drove to Charlotte for like a pay-per-view, drove all the way home to the beach, you know, all the way to the eastern part of North Carolina, and then the next day drove to Greensboro. I don't remember why the fuck we did that, but we did for some reason. So, you know, but back then, I mean, I was still in the restaurant business. I was making good money, but not a lot to like be blowing a lot of money on these shows. And a lot of times we would. To us, it was worth it. You know, the tickets we would find only some. I would spring for really good seats for pay-per-view sometimes. Otherwise, I'd probably buy $40 tickets. You know, and we'd go. Hotel would run us about $100. We'd split that. And then other than that, it's gas money. So it's not too bad. But yeah, I wasn't making money like I do now. So it was really hard to pull off. Thomas Polster, good random question, but a good one. Any memories of how Hogan got his black eye at WrestleMania 9? I remember the announce team saying that it was caused by some hired thugs of Money Inc. Yeah, I guess that's the way they put it on TV. I think there's still to this day a big mystery as to what the fuck happened there. I think he tried to tell the story, and I'm going from memory here, so I could be way off. I want to say he tried to say it was some accident that happened in the gym, a weightlifting accident of some kind. If I remember right. But, I mean, there's even been rumors that Randy Savage kicked his ass, which I think is really funny, because Randy Savage was kind of putting him over during WrestleMania 9. I don't think that happened. I don't think the Randy Savage rumors are true, but something is up. So I still don't know how he suffered that injury to this day. I don't really know what caused it. And if the truth... I mean, I know what Hogan says caused it, but I don't know if that's really the truth. So who knows? Broncos 0027, how many cats have I ever had? Actually, just 3. I had a dog growing up as a kid. She lived to be 16. And it was tough when she died. And then I had a girl cat that my wife had. She had already had her, and then I had lived with the cat for about 7 years, and she passed away, and that was really sad. She died on the same day my grandmother passed away. I just started doing commentaries. It was 2010. It was 2010 when that happened. And we had to finally put her down, and it was sad. She had some condition where her lungs, they started hardening, like they were just forming scar tissue, and she just wasn't able to breathe. And we noticed she wasn't eating. She was hiding, and when cats hide, they're looking for a place to die. And I knew, and it sucked. And so we took her to the vet, and they were like, yeah, she goes, they're like, you can prolong this with some medicine, which we did, but she wasn't getting any better. She just wouldn't eat. And I felt like she was miserable and she was suffering. So we took her to the vet again, and we left her there for 2 days this time while they pumped her full of meds. And then they called and said, look, that she's got to go down. So that was tough. You know, it's hard when you put an animal down when they're like in your arms and you feel their bodies go limp. It's fucking heartbreaking. So then I moved to California, got a cat, got Bub as soon as I was here. I was here about 6 months. Went and adopted him. And then Tito stumbled into my lap. I was getting a sandwich at Jersey Mike's, the sub shop. I don't know how many of you are listening here in the United States. Maybe your town has Jersey Mike's. But I'm leaving, and I see a little tiny kitten in the bushes all by himself. So brought him home. rescued him from the bushes of Jersey Mike. So I didn't really want a second cat, but I couldn't leave him. And I thought it would be cool, since I knew he was a boy, that Bub would have a brother and they could hang out. And now they're fucking BFFs. So best decision I ever made. But the only reason I have cats is because I live in a 3rd-story condo. And life in San Diego is very busy. It's not like when I lived in North Carolina, when I would have a house, I would have a yard and shit. Dogs are easier to take care of. Here, I would only want a dog if I could give it a good life, take it out running and playing and all that shit. And it's just, life's too hectic, and I don't have the lifestyle for a dog. But I still want animals, so I have cats. That's why I have these 2 fuckheads that sometimes you see during live streams. Well, some of you that I put in timeout are back, so I guess timeout doesn't last too long. I've almost pretty much narrowed down who the fuckers are. Should I block you, or should I not even bother? What if Shane ended up taking over WWE instead of Stephanie and Triple H? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know what Shane's role is going to be. I mean, he's been back for a while now, so when he initially came back, I was like, oh, maybe he'll hang around for a year or whatever, but he's back. So I don't know if he's going to... I don't even know what Shane's role is backstage. I mean, is Vince McMahon's son really just an on-air character and that's it? Does he really have no input backstage at all? I mean, it seems like that's the way it is. But, you know, Shane, I would like to see him have a role, but with Stephanie and Triple H, I just hope... I don't know what the situation is behind the scenes. Like, I just hope that Stephanie, Triple H, and Shane all get along. I hope there's no animosity there. I hope it doesn't become a power struggle within the family when Vince dies. I don't want to see the family crumble the way the Harts did, you know, after Owen Hart died, and then, you know, the family was just torn apart. You know, I don't want to see that happen with the McMahons, because the WWE is going to suffer if a bunch of infighting starts happening. So whatever Shane's deal is, I just hope he's under good terms and he's happy and secure with where he is in his life and what he's doing, to where he never tries to cause a problem, I guess, in WWE's future plans. Jason Fortman, who is my pick to win the Royal Rumble? Probably Shinsuke Nakamura. But I don't know. Could be anybody at this point. But Shinsuke, I think, would be the most fun, considering AJ retained tonight. I think if they built that match to WrestleMania and did it well, you know, it could be a big deal. Check my Twitter. I've been demanded to go over to Twitter and see what... oh, God, don't show me that. Yeah. Sucks putting animals down, man. Sucks. Don't even want to think about it. Oh, man. Well, oh shit, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes in here. I guess I should think about getting off here. I want to cook dinner. I'm starving. It's 10:30 local time, so it's still early. I'm going to chill out and relax. Tomorrow night on Raw, I think I'm definitely going to be home to be live tweeting, so go to Twitter, follow me on Twitter at GoodMicWork, and live tweet me during the show, and maybe I'll come up here and do a live review. I've been doing that on Monday nights, but I've already been up tonight for 2.5 hours, so I don't know if I'll come back up again tomorrow and do it again. I don't know if that's too much or not. I don't know how my voice is going to sound, but I might actually do that. I'm just reading a few more comments here. Yeah, I'm thinking about leaving. It's breaking down, man. It's breaking down. Devon Lennon. Do I like wine? Or Devon Lennon? Devon. Yes, I do like wine. I've been in the restaurant business 25 years. I'm surrounded by great wine. My dad is an insane wine collector. He's nuts about it. And I actually have wine behind me. And I always have good wine in the house. But as far as like casual drinking goes, I've said it a million times, I'm a beer guy. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks for the good thoughts, everybody. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm going to get out of here now. I'm getting kind of tired. So I think this was a successful stream. Everything held up this time. Audio was good. Video was good. We had some fun. Talked about a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'll try to come up here tomorrow night if I can. No promises. But at the very least, catch me on Twitter. I'll live tweet throughout the show. So you guys take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching for all this time. Tonight was a pretty good turnout, it looks like. We had well over 100, sometimes 200 or more people watching at a time. And that's awesome. So I appreciate everybody hanging out and stopping by. And keep an eye on the channel tomorrow night. I might be back. So you guys take care. I'll catch you soon. Peace.